Welcome, everybody, to Bird's Nest Stadium here in Georgetown, Kentucky on a beautiful Saturday night as we'll be under the lights for a second time here at newsgraphic.com and on NFHS Network. I'm Kal Oakes. I'll call on our special guest momentarily. We're here to watch Great Crossing host its first official home game of the season for the Warhawks as they played Scott County as the quote-unquote visitor last Friday night. They will take on the Shelby County Rockets out of 4A. They've made the trip east on I-64. It's a short notice game. We all found out on Thursday afternoon this was going to take place. Great Crossing coming in with a record of 0-2, looking for its first home win ever as they'll take on Shelby County with its record of 1-1. Shelby County with a win over Frankfort, 40-20, and a 49-12 loss to North Bullitt, rather. Great Crossing, opening night, they lost at Woodford County, a game that was probably closer than the final score indicates, a 3-touchdown margin for the Yellow Jackets, and then last week's 49-18 verdict against the Cardinals. We're going to have a special guest, as we mentioned, a coach who knows both of tonight's head coach as well. They are among the many former assistants of his that are head coaches here in the state of Kentucky now in KHSAA football. Coach Paul Raines, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, Cal. It's good to be here. Good to see some high school football, and I'm looking forward to seeing two of my proteges out here coaching against each other. I didn't get to talk to Coach Shipley from Shelby County, but he was with me back at Madison Central, and of course, Coach Boland's with me here at Great Crossings last year.
Yes, probably everybody who's tuning in knows this, but you were the coach of Great Crossing last year in year one, team one. Got that victory under the program's belt at Grant County. You got their first taste of the playoffs. What are you expecting as a spectator now, watching this team from kind of the outside looking in? What do you see in year two that's a little different?
Well, I think one of the big things is just the overall maturity level has increased and will continue to increase. I came and watched the Scott County game, and you could just see a different confidence that the players had on the field, even though they're young. And you and I were talking about this before the game. Even though they're young, they still have a little bit more confidence about them.
We've got the national anthem here, and we'll rejoin you for pregame after that. We're back with you, picking up the conversation where we left off with Coach Raines. You talked about confidence, and last year this group, as we were mentioning off the air, very few of them, if any, had any varsity experience coming in. They got to play 11 games last season, got that taste of that first win. They've had 2 under their belts this year. There's really no substitute for those reps under the lights with fans and watching your every move, is there?
No, there is no substitute, and especially at the high school level where you're dealing with, we had 13-year-old boys out there playing on Friday night in that first game in front of 7,000 to 8,000 people. There's a huge difference to that even compared up to the college level. So this team now, especially up front, I know they're still very young up front, but you can see just a little bit more aggressive mentality in the way they play the game because of that confidence.
You raise a really good point because football especially, it's really contingent on that size and strength and maturity. You can get away in some sports with playing freshmen, especially maybe in girls sports and even in a few boys sports. in football, if you're playing freshmen, it's boys against men, quite
Yeah.
literally, a lot of the time.
I've always made the joke if they don't have hair on their legs yet, that you may be in trouble. And we had a lot of them last year that they just don't have the physical maturity yet to be out there in 5A football. It's a little bit different even in single A, but in 5A football, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, just the sheer numbers, and you look at some of the programs that Great Crossing has to deal with. The Scott Counties, the Frederick Douglasses, and your out of district schedule was no joke. And again, it's pretty much just the flip this year. It's the same teams, different sites. It's a stacked deck.
Yeah, it is. I think someone said that we went through the rankings and said that we had the fifth hardest schedule in the state last year with the youngest football team in the state. So it's good this year to have so many players back and being confident about what they're doing. It's good that the staff was able to stay together. And they've developed relationships with these boys and Coach Boland, and these coaches are doing a great job. And I expect big things in the future here at Great Crossing.
Couple of notes before this game. We noticed in the pregame that the sophomore fullback Caspin Colbert, who's been the leading rusher both as a freshman and again this season, is out. He has a cast on his right hand, I guess a broken finger, thumb, something of that nature will keep him out of the lineup. It's going to put significantly more pressure, I would think, on the senior quarterback, Jake Broughton, as well as some of the other backs that we saw last week come up big against Scott County. They're not the every down type like Caspin is, so it's going to change their offense a little bit, won't it?
Yeah, they're going to have to do it by party of running backs instead of just one beating it up in there. I don't think the other running backs have got to have the physical size and strength that Caspin's got. So it'll be take the whole group. I think they've probably got about 3 other kids that'll run at that fullback spot, but that's a tough break for the Warhawks.
I saw Jaquise Patterson getting some reps in pregame, so you may see him in addition to the halfbacks that we saw last week. Peyton Harris, Casey Fain, we saw quite a bit of them, so you'll see them in the lineup. And, of course, Broughton's capable of running the ball by himself out of the triple option. Talk about that offense a little bit, because you guys made that transition kind of in the middle of last season, and it really seems to fit this group's personnel.
Well, the biggest thing that we run into last year, and as we've already spoke of, is we were so young up front. And trying to pass block and block from an up stance and do some of the zone blocking that we were attempting to do early on, our intentions were good, but those guys were just too young and too small, and we needed some type of advantage. And the advantage you get out of the triple option first is that you're able to cut and get down in there in a good low stance and kind of take that lack of size and use it to your benefit. So that was the big thing. And then the other thing, we need to slow the game down. We needed to try to get into a 4-quarter ball game against some of these teams that had superior talent and more experience than we had, and we were able to do that a little bit also. So they've carried that on to this year, and I know Coach Boland, being one of the leading passers in the state, he would love to be able to air that thing out ever down, but that's not always what you're able to do, depending on the talent and the experience that you've got.
Of course, one name we haven't even mentioned yet, but that's we need to. It is Mr. Caleb Perry. When you have a player of that talent level on your roster that you can do so many things with, it's imperative to get the ball in his hands no matter how, right?
That was my one parting advice to Ricky when I left was you need to get the ball to Caleb any way you can. You've got to create some plays and some ways to get him the ball. But most games, he's going to be the best athlete on the field.
He has 4 offers already. If you joined us last week, we talked a little bit about that. Virginia, West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Boston College already in the hunt for Caleb Perry's services, and he's only a junior, about 6'4", close to 200 pounds. He'll line up just about everywhere. He can line up in the Wildcat. You may even see him line up in the backfield, and they may saddle him up on one of these drives. Who knows? Anything possible tonight. Want to mention a little bit about the opponent coming in, Shelby County, a 4A team. The Rockets, as you said, coached by Todd Shipley. They're 1-1. They've had some success in the past. In 2000, I believe it was 2016, they got to the regional Final Four in Class 4A. They've kind of steadily tapered off a little bit, but they've been a 6-win team each of the past 2 years. I think we looked at their roster and their stats in the pregame. Looks like their quarterback's going to be doing a lot for them tonight.
Yeah, I think they've got their quarterback back and also their running back. They were 2 of their studs last year as far as their offense was concerned. I think they're a little bit, from what I've read about the preseason, release on them. Offensive line's a little bit young, so that could bode into Warhawk favor. And I think they've only got one returning starter up front, so it'll be interesting to see how we're able to do up front.
Warhawks will receive as Shelby County gets ready to kick off. Looks like number 4, Drake Bird. He had a good return last week. He's back there. Had a 50-yarder to set up a touchdown against Scott County. They will kick it in his direction. He'll take it out about the 18. Up the middle comes Bird. He's got room to the 40, and he finally gets taken down. Probably the last man that had a clean shot to get him. If he could have gotten an angle, he'd have been gone. But great crossing and good field position to start the game, and just let it open up for him right there, didn't he?
Yeah, they run that double wedge, and he hit it just about. It looked very similar to against Scott County last week. Same type of return.
Good 25-yard return to put the Warhawks in business at their own 43. It is Jake Broughton under center, the senior at quarterback. Shelby jumped, and we'll get whistles and a stoppage in play. Is Patterson lined up behind Broughton? The penalty will be on Shelby County, so it'll be 1st and 5.
That's a good way to start it off.
Get yourself in a good down and distance situation right off the bat. 5 yards closer, they'll be at the 48. Line of scrimmage to start this drive for the Warhawks. As we said, Jaquise Patterson, another sophomore, lined up in the backfield, is the lone setback right now. Of course, the wings. Harris on the right. And they are stuffed at the point of attack there as Patterson going nowhere. The heart of the Shelby County defense met him, number 9 and number 44.
Looks like they're running a 3-5-3 defense, and they're going to probably create a little confusion on the outside there. They've got those outside linebackers stacked behind the defensive ends. That could make it tough for Broughton to read tonight.
Reese Ford and Anthony Bradford on the stop. That's a loss of 3 for Patterson, so it's 2nd and 8 after the penalty. Put the Warhawks in a good spot. Now it's a more typical 2nd and 8 situation. Shotgun snap now to Broughton. It was a straight drop. He'll go deep. He's got Coulter down there. Just juggles it and can't come up with the catch along his own sideline. Number 7 down there for Shelby County, Griffin Spencer, providing the defense.
That's a nice ball. Really put that in a good spot.
Put it right in the basket. He just could not come down. I think he was focused on his feet a little bit too, trying to drag a foot in bounds and just couldn't make the catch. So it'll be 3rd and 8 as the Warhawks first possession here, helped out by a penalty, but a tackle for loss right after that, putting them on their heels. Broughton, again, it looks like he'll be in the gun with Patterson behind him.
They're playing man-to-man defense, so they're daring them to throw the ball deep.
A lot of pressure coming in, and he's going to be sacked. Number 54 had the initial pressure, and then 10 and 56 took him down. Good pressure from the front side by Aiden McGee. Jaden Patton on the half sack there. And they will punt. So the Warhawks go backwards on their first series. It'll be 4th and 14, and Caleb Perry will drop back and kick it away. So not the great start for the Warhawks offense, and they are missing the piece there with Colbert, and it seemed to cross them up a little bit on the opening drive.
Yeah, it did. I hope our protection holds up tonight. We struggled a little bit with that against Scott County. Of course, Scott's known for blocking punts, but a little small up front in order to get people down the field to cover, and sometimes that makes your blocking a little tough.
The one thing they couldn't do last week is block a punt. I think they might have gotten to him once, but Scott County does that with regularity. Another flinch sets them back 5 yards, a false start penalty, so it's 4th and 18 now, and Perry will get it away. It's a good kick, good hang time. Comes down and fair caught at the 32 by number 7, Griffin Spencer. So Shelby County in business there. But a good kick of 35 yards for Caleb Perry. First we've seen of the Shelby County offense tonight, Coach Raines, and it's going to be interesting to see what they can do against the Great Crossing defense, which they forced Scott County to drive the field last week. There were not a ton of big plays.
Yes. They've got a big fullback there. It'll be interesting.
He is
to
a load,
see.
isn't he?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Great Crossing with their smaller linebackers are able to stop him for the night.
That's Anthony Bradford, and it's going to be a quarterback keep and then an option pitch at the very last second. In fact, he was well past the line of scrimmage before he dished it off. Did Zachary Miracle, the quarterback. Number 9, Reese Ford, was coming on the end, and he took out the rest of that gain, picked up the final 3 or 4 yards, and it's a first down for the Rockets at the 46.
They ended up with a 2-on-1 situation out there on the flank, and that's not Great Crossing. Can't have that very often. You're going to lose every time.
Looked like some old school Nebraska, Oklahoma football right there out on the left end with the quarterback pitching it after he did half the work himself. Miracle in the shotgun. He's got 2 backs behind him. First man through is Bradford, and he's got a lot of room. That big fullback you were talking about out across the Great Crossing 40 to the 39.
That'll get old on the defensive backs tonight.
You're going to have to hit him low. That is for sure. Take him down the hard way, or he's going to have himself a night. The Rockets pick up 2 quick first downs. They've moved the sticks to the 40 of the Warhawks. 10 minutes even remaining here in the first quarter. We are scoreless at Bird's Nest Stadium. Kal Oakes along with Coach Paul Raines. Miracle throws left, but he's high, and it's well incomplete. Closest man to it was one of the assistant coaches on the Shelby County sideline.
Do we have a height and weight on the fullback, Cal?
Gosh, no. Unfortunately, the KHS AA site doesn't list that, and I tried to find a more I tried to go on their football webpage, and their roster page is blank, so I'm going to guess 250 on a good day.
That's what I would say also is about 250.
Probably about 5'9", 5'10". I mean, he's not overly tall, but he's built like a nose guard. He gets the handoff again. He will push the stack for about 3. Good work there by the Great Crossing defense, the heart of it, to shut things down to a bare minimum.
Big down right here. 3rd and 7. Get a stop here and possibly force a punt.
Yeah, interesting play call on first down to throw it when you have had that much success with those first 2 running plays. You have that big guy in your backfield. Now they put themselves in that 3rd and 7 situation. Probably 4 down territory, even though it's early in the game. I don't think Shelby would punt from here. Keeper for the quarterback again. It's Miracle on the left side. He's taken down shy of the first down. He gets to about the 33, where it'll be 4th and maybe a long 2. See who gets up off the pile there for Great Crossing. Looks like Mason Wiley over there. What's your call on 4th and 2, Coach? We got that big fullback. I think you got to let the big dog eat, right?
I believe I'd give it back to the fullback again. It'd be hard to stop him for 2 yards.
Mr. Anthony Bradford, he's carried 22 times for 135 yards in the first 2 games, so they don't work him too heavily. He's a big boy. A little long count there. The Warhawks don't bite on that. Now he'll look at the sideline and maybe change the play call. And now we've got a timeout. So things went well there for Great Crossing. Good discipline there from the Warhawks to force the timeout by the Rockets.
Yeah, it is. That's good for a young team to be able to sit in there in a short yard situation. That's good coaching.
Next good thing for the Warhawks would be to get a stop, right?
Yeah. Easy part's over. Now comes the hard part.
Easier said than done. It's last week Scott County scored on 7 of its 8 possessions. So as we mentioned, they were long drives. It wasn't big play after big play after big play, and that was certainly a sign of growth from the Great Crossing Warhawks. But against a different opponent, maybe a chance to have a little more success and kind of dig in their heels and get the ball back and see what they can do. It was a quick and short and backwards drive the first time Great Crossing had the ball tonight.
You know, the similarities between the 2 games is that both of these requires the defense to be very disciplined. You've got the option attack tonight, and you had the wing tee last week, and it's tough to find the football.
It's tough to prepare for that when you only found out Thursday who you were going to be playing, too. I imagine it's a different look than they would have seen from Dunbar. And it is the fullback straight up the middle. He'll have the first down and much more to the 25 as he carries a couple of would-be tacklers that far. Looked like Trey Combs was there to help make the stop along with number 23, new face we talked about a lot last week.
Fisher, isn't it?
Yeah, is that? Yeah, actually 23 is Caleb Witry. I was thinking of Mr. Allen. He's number 22. Caden Allen's been a guy to watch these first 2 games of the season as well. Out to the 25 and a fresh set of downs for the Rockets. Miracle hands off to his big fullback once again. Nothing there.
Nice job.
Good read by the heart of the defense. Combs again along with Allen.
Chase Little was in the bottom of that.
He sure was. Number 57, Pilot Lacasco, a bunch of blue shirts all over big number 44, Anthony Bradford. Gain of about a foot. It'll be 2nd and 10, all things considered, for Shelby County with 7:30 remaining here in the first quarter.
What's his quarterback this time?
Yeah, once he runs that waggle play again, he's a double threat out there. He does go that way, and now he stutter steps, but he gets caught. What a nice tackle there. As Pilot was there to take him down for a loss of a yard, and it's going to be 3rd and long for the Rockets.
Lacasco is a fine young linebacker. They got a bright future for him. Just a sophomore this year, and 2 more years in the weight room. He's going to be a quality high school linebacker.
Did a great job staying at home on that play, and he was there to meet the quarterback Miracle. It's 3rd and 10. We'll see what the Rockets can pull out of their sleeve here.
Pass play. Nope.
Once again, Miracle on the bootleg. He's still got the ball. He sold the fake very well, and he gets past the marker to the 11. It'll be another first down for Shelby County. They can pick up one more first down without getting a touchdown. It will be marked at the 12, so give him 13 on the gain. That was a big play there.
Well, and it's the same situation we got into earlier. It's 2-on-1 out there. There's nobody on the quarterback until he gets out in the flank, and then there's one player between him and the pitch. And whenever you get those odds, you're in trouble.
1st and 10 from the Great Crossing 12. Zachary Miracle, the quarterback. He's a double threat. He can throw the ball, but he's also their leading rusher. He's averaged 125 yards rushing in the first 2 games. They'll just give it to Bradford again. Bradford just dragging everybody toward the end zone. He gets in. Line judge says touchdown. The first contact was at about the 10, and it was like a rugby scrum. Just kept pushing it forward with 5:51 to play. He's in the end zone for a 12-yard TD.
It's hard to even get your hands around that running back like that.
So an impressive drive for Shelby County. A couple of long conversions on 3rd down. An interesting formation there. Was that a direct snap on the PAT?
The old swinging gate. He snapped it sideways to big 44, the fullback, and he just basically walked in the end zone from that side.
So it's 8-0 just like that. Shelby County with an impressive drive. The visitors going on top, as it was 3 and out for the Warhawks, and then Shelby County drove it down their throat, basically. We'll see what Great Crossing can do. We've had a chance to talk it over on the offensive side of things. We mentioned a lot of adjustments on the fly tonight without Caspin back there at fullback.
I have to think that outside linebacker on that is biting down on the fullback, Cal, in order for that quarterback to come around the hub there and be that wide open. And then they've got the wide receiver blocking the corner, so there's nobody left. I think it's Caleb Perry that's coming up, but it's 2-on-1 situation. So they'll be over here watching the huddle sideline shot and be making some adjustments on that, I'm sure.
Kickoff again for Shelby County. Drake Bird gave GC good field position last time. We'll see what he can do. They may kick away from him. They've learned from their mistakes the first time around.
Right? Nope.
Yep, it'll be at the 6. And he's got room out past the 30 before he's thrown down. Number 14, DeQuise Brown, also a sophomore. We're going to say that word a lot tonight. Good return by the multi-sport athlete, DeQuise Brown. And again, GC in good shape at its own 34 to start this drive. They'll back it up to the 33. Once again, it'll be Broughton at quarterback. Patterson, the setback. The wings are Harris and Fain. Perry split out along with Coulter. Coulter to this side, Perry to the far side of the field. There's an option pitch that's on the turf, and Patterson has to dive to pick it up. It's a loss of 5, and a lot of negative momentum early for the GC offense.
Not a very good pitch right there. You've got to stop and look at that running back and set your feet and make a good solid pitch and make sure that you don't lose yardage on a play like that.
A lot of things stacked against the young team here is, of course, the short notice. We mentioned they only knew for 2 days they were going up against this Shelby County defense. They're also missing a big piece with their leading rusher. Got to figure out some things to get something positive in the yardage column. It's not going to be there. So I believe first man through was Patterson, and he got stacked up quickly and lost another yard. So it'll be 3rd and 16. Wow.
They've got a numbers situation on here, Kyle. They've got the 2 split ends or man-to-man. So basically they've got 9 players in the box there, and they're just daring them to throw the football.
At some point, we know Broughton can. They will have to look downfield and make use of Caleb Perry and Jacob Coulter. The problem is he's got to get time to throw. We saw they were in the backfield pretty quickly on 3rd and long on the last series. Here they come again. Same guy. Well-thrown ball to Perry, and he goes up and gets it. Nice catch by Caleb Perry, and it's a first down at the Shelby County. Well, they'll mark it at midfield. I was going to say at the Shelby County 49. They'll put it right at the 50. But it's a gain of 23 from Broughton to Perry.
That's a great call when you throw it to Caleb Perry. You can't hardly go wrong with that. You got a chance of getting pass interference or a completion. Most of the time you put it up there to
It's
him
a
like
jump
that.
ball, and he's a good rebounder on the basketball court, so you know he's going to be able to go up and get that. And Great Crossing needed that badly. We'll see if they can use that to fuel their running game. Broughton will keep it over the left side. He'll get taken down after a very short gain of 2. Number 13, Jacob Woods, makes the solo stop for the Rockets. It'll be 2nd and 8 from the Rocket 48. Broughton, a good runner as well as a good thrower. That's the first time we've seen him tonight keeping it himself. They might have to do that a little bit more without their primary option behind him to keep Shelby County honest. Harris in motion now. It'll be Broughton again, spinning forward to the 46. So it'll be 3rd and 6, couple of 2-yard gains by the quarterback as we tick down to about 3 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Shelby County up 8-0.
I've noticed that Shelby County's flip-flopping their defense. I'm not sure if Great Crossings is capable of doing a hurry-up, but if they get up there and get set, a lot of times they're having a hard time getting their defense moved around and might be able to get a quick playoff on them in one of these short yardage situations.
Tempo could be key as the night goes on. They got some big boys on that defense too. Broughton with time to throw. He's got Coulter. It's a man-on-man situation there, but it's broken up again by number 7 as he's read that well twice. Griffin Spencer. It will fall incomplete. Now what do you do on 4th and 6? It's not traditional 4-down territory, but you're already down 8-0. You're on Shelby County side of the field. Nope, they're going to punt.
Since they're running the punt team out,
I think maybe they'll try to pin them back a little bit here. Of course, when you have Caleb Perry back there, when you're the other team, you got to be aware of a few different options.
I tell you what what I like of what I've seen so far is Broughton has thrown some really nice looking fade balls. He's really dropping it in nice and high. I noticed I watched the UK game today, and I think that's an area that Wilson struggles.
Might be a deficiency.
The long ball. He doesn't get enough air under it. And Broughton really does a great job of getting air under his deep balls.
He drops it in a bucket. He did that to Coulter last week for a long touchdown against Scott County.
All 3 passes that he threw deep, Shelby County has done a great job of covering each one of those, but Broughton has really put it in a spot where his receivers got a real good chance of catching the ball.
Yeah, Perry went up and got the other one, of course, and he might be the option here on 4th and 6 if Great Crossing does go for it after the timeout. We'll see. It's been a busy day on campus here. Great Crossing boys soccer won 4-0 in the Battle of the Birds over Scott County. And then up the street, Scott County girls soccer won 5-0 over Frankfort. Great Crossing girls soccer went to Western Hills in Frankfort and won 2-1 in overtime. So it's good to have a full Saturday of sports again. It's been a long, long time. Long time coming. Perry will punt. He will angle it. Oh, no, he kicks it straight down the middle inside the 10. He spins away, does the returner.
Pretty good coverage.
He gets to the 15. They had it covered pretty well. Griffin Spencer made a couple of guys miss, but not the third man, and it will be not great field position for Shelby County to start it out. They'll be at their own 14. They lead 8-0 with 2:30 remaining in the first quarter. A positive drive just to kind of lengthen the field a little bit for Great Crossing. They needed that first down badly, and they got it. And now Shelby County will have a lot of extra work to do if they're going to put another one on the board here. Miracle, the quarterback, in the shotgun. He hands it off to the first man through. It's a different fullback this time. It is number 40. That is Dylan Maines. He gets out past the 15 to the 16. It's a gain of 2. 2nd and 8. It's just strength against strength there when they run it up the middle. There's some big boys in the heart of the Great Crossing defense as well. You think of Trey Combs. I don't know what they list him at, but he's tough to move.
Yeah, I'd say Trey's probably about 270 if I was guessing.
Of course, number 65 as well. Chase Little is
he's
a really big presence.
Really good looking kid.
Another handoff to the first man through. He'll get it out past the 20. It's Maines once again. A couple of conservative calls for Shelby County just to get themselves some forward momentum as they get out past the 20 now to be 3rd and 1.
They're mixing up their option. They run a little midline, especially to the big fullback on that first down that they needed down there in short yardage, 4th down. That time they run an outside veer and they're reading that defensive end. So it really makes it tough on your linebackers and your defensive linemen not knowing which point it is exactly that they're attacking.
Good change of pace for this Shelby County offense. They've already shown they can do a lot of different things to move the football on the ground. Again, the give is to the fullback. It will be a first down out past the 25. So 1, 2, 3, and moving the chains. It was once again number 44, the big man, Anthony Bradford.
Tackle made by number 57, Pilot McCasco. Ball carried by number 44. Pick up a first down.
Shelby County with under a minute to go in this first quarter, already leading 8-0. Starting to move again as they are at their own 26 after a good punt by Caleb Perry. Again, the fullback, and he had a head of steam. He was about 5 yards before he was even touched, and he'll push it out close to the 35. It'll be 2nd and short.
The defensive end on that side getting upfield there was untouched, and they're reading him. When he steps up the field, they give it to that big guy up the middle, right in there off the B gap, and you're just going to run that all day if that's what we're going to continue to do.
They're going to mark it at the 34. It'll be 2nd and a long 2. Time winding down here. Don't know if they'll get the play off. They didn't. So we will switch ends with the score. Shelby County 8 and Great Crossing nothing here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. We'll take a moment as the teams meet to talk it over to thank some of our sponsors. Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. Of course, my mothership is the Georgetown News Graphic. We publish every Tuesday and Thursday, 24/7 online story from this game and all the other games today and the game last night. You can check it all out, all the color, all the words and pictures. And, of course, bringing you this broadcast with the help of our producer, James Scoggin, tonight. Denise M. Keene, certified public accountant for your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties Real Estate, buying and selling made easy. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. Clark's Pump and Shop with 3 and soon to be 4 Georgetown locations. Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain their number one priority. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington, great people, great cars, think Greens. Ozer Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. Scott County Veterinary Clinic, we love and treat your pets like our own. Come join the Scott County Veterinary Clinic family. People's Bank, working together, building success. Come see us at 101 Canewood Center Drive. Time to Shine Car Wash. Your car will shine at Time to Shine. 8 Lexington area locations to serve you. Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, ready to meet all of your insurance needs. Burger King, home of the Whopper, 2 Georgetown locations. And Domino's Pizza, check out its new Georgetown location at the corner of Champion Way and US 25. And, of course, later tonight, we'll have our Offensive Player of the Game brought to you by People's Bank and the Defensive Player of the Game presented by Scott County Veterinary Clinic. Ready to go here, second quarter action. Second and short for Shelby. They'll take advantage of that and throw it deep. It'll be incomplete, way over everybody. The coverage back there for Great Crossing was good by Casey Fain, number 13, and it was well overthrown, 2 steps past the receiver. But you can afford that on 2nd and 2. It's no harm, no foul, especially when you got a fullback like they've got for Shelby County.
Well, it keeps the defense a little honest back there. You catch them asleep in those situations, and with this fullback, you're right, Cal. It's hard to stop him for 2 yards.
It's also hard to stop the quarterback, Mr. Miracle. He can pick that 2 up on the edge pretty easily once he sells the fake. They're at their own 34 out of the Shelby County Rockets, going from right to left on your radio dial. It's an option pitch. That was kind of a strange late developing play, and Great Crossing was all over it. Casey Fain was there to make the first impact along with Orion Fisher, number 27. Good pursuit by the Warhawks to force a punt.
You know, Shelby County really had the numbers over here to the trip side of it, and they ran it back the other way. I don't think they were expecting the defense to be set that way, and Casey Fain came up and made a great play. It's good to see Casey out there this year. You know, he got hurt last year, ended up missing the entire season, and he's a super young man and really works hard. It's great to have him out there making plays and having fun.
Great athletic family here in the county that Casey's part of. It's a Shelby County punt, as Miracle, the quarterback, is also the punter. You got to be aware of that as the evening goes on. He gets off a good one. He angles it towards his sideline. It'll bounce once, twice. Caleb Perry lets it go, and Shelby covers it at the 33 of Great Crossing. So with 10:59 remaining here in the second quarter, the Warhawks offense will go back to work after a couple of short series. Wow. Mississippi State, 44-34 over LSU, and their quarterback threw for 623 yards today. Good Lord have mercy.
When has Mississippi State ever thrown?
God bless Mike Leach.
Yards?
Oh, we love Coach Leach.
The Pirate has invaded the SEC.
Oh, man, I'm telling you what. Bring it on. Bring it on. It's going to be fun to watch that show. I don't know how it'll end, but it's going to be a party while it's in progress. Great Crossing at the 33 to start this drive. That was kind of a
little counter play.
A little counter handoff. Was it Perry that took it?
Yeah, Caleb Perry.
Yeah, well, I said they got to get the ball in his hands, but I haven't seen him try to get it in his hands that way yet. It was a loss of a yard, be 2nd and 11.
I think they ran that once last week and then faked it once, but they were ready for it this time.
Shelby was all over it there.
You're running it into that big 44 over on that side, too. That may be a tough
That's a
block.
tricky proposition.
What is that boy's name again, 44?
Yeah, Mr. Anthony Bradford.
Mr. Bradford.
Yeah, you call him sir is what you do. Great Crossing at its own 32. A couple of fakes. Fain has it. Jukes one man. He can't get away from the stack, though, and he gains maybe back to the original line of scrimmage before he's piled on over by the Shelby County sideline. 3rd and 10.
I noticed they had Caleb Perry playing one of the halfback positions that time.
Well, it's a way to get the ball in his hands, but he's certainly not your prototype halfback.
No. 3rd and long.
Yep, that's been the situation tonight. And Caleb comes to the sideline here. Interesting. That takes away one option to go up and get the ball here on 3rd and 10. Broughton he had a man wide open. Nope, that is Perry out there. I thought I saw him trotting over here.
No, that was Shively.
Okay, yep. Last week I struggled with the 8 and the 9 too, those numbers. It's incomplete, and he had him. He was a good 10 yards away from the nearest white uniform, but it was just a little bit overthrown. It's going to be another punt for Great Crossing.
I think Broughton, it kind of shocked him that he was that open, and he kind of rushed it a little bit and missed his target.
Need to put a little bit of air under it. Would have been a first down and then some. Perry will punt. It's another high kick that'll have to be fair caught, barely at the 30.
That was a nice kick by Caleb. I thought he might fumble that thing as high as that ball was.
Griffin Spencer had to catch a fly ball there, and it was tricky in the lights. But it's a 1st and 10 for the Rockets at their own 31 as they try to build on an 8-0 lead with 9:22 remaining in the half. So 3 series and only 1 first down so far for the Great Crossing offense. Defense is maybe got to make something happen here. Pin their ears back, get a stop, get a turnover. Shelby County Rockets coming to town out of 4A. This was a 3rd time's the charm deal for them. They tried to play 2 teams in Frankfort. They had Western Hills on the schedule. They had Franklin County. Both of those were wiped out, I believe, both due to COVID problems. There's a bad snap. Miracle has to cover it up, as Fisher was right there to make sure to get a couple of hands on him just in case. It's as good as a sack. And he'll be back at the 24. Big loss there of 7.
Well, that's a good situation to be in against this option attack, is get them in long distances where they do have to throw the ball, hopefully. Make sure that quarterback doesn't pull one out and get a good long run like he has a couple of times. But I think we could be in good shape this drive.
That's just another factor when you run that shotgun formation. You got to get the snap right. We've seen that several times this year already where teams have lost big yards in that situation. It's just another element.
Little trap play with fullback.
The fullback gets it done once again. Number 44, Bradford, pushes forward to the 29. Doesn't get all of what they lost back, but it'll be 3rd and 12. Good situation again, down a distance if you're the GC defense, as they have tightened up after that opening drive. Chase Little comes to the sideline. I don't know if he's banged up, or I hope not. He missed the first game of the season with an injury, if I recall.
I think he's got a helmet broke, or
yeah, it might be an equipment
issue there.
He was not happy.
Big down right here.
Miracle fakes the handoff, and he throws the ball out in the right flap, but it's overthrown to his man, number 8. His receiver over there is Landon Ford. The coverage from number 33, Mason Wiley, but didn't really need to do much, did Mason, as nowhere near the target, and it will be another punt for the Rockets, as Miracle will drop back with 7:55 remaining in the half. Still an 8-0 game. Perry back to return, standing at his own 36. Miracle tries to kick it as far away from him as possible, but he fair catches it, does Perry. It hits the turf once, and he covers up at the 30. Both punters getting good hang time here and forcing the issue. You kind of have to fair catch it on turf because it could keep rolling, and all of a sudden a guy gets a 60-yard punt out of what would have been a 35, right?
Yeah, you do.
Great Crossing starts again at the 30. Broughton at quarterback. As we mentioned, Caspin Colbert out of the lineup with a hand injury. That has certainly handicapped the Great Crossing offense to some extent here in the first half, as they've had to nickel and dime it in the rushing game. Oh, blindside hit. Was that number 44 again coming in from that side? Yes, sir. Mr. Bradford Anthony. Anthony Bradford, sir, with a loss of 6, make it 7, and Broughton got jarred there. He's lucky he held on to the ball and his mouthpiece and everything else. So Bradford making his presence felt on both sides, and it's a mismatch trying to deal with him.
Ball's on the 23-yard line. Great Crossing.
2nd and 16. We've said that a lot actually, on both sides lately. A lot of and long situations. Broughton will drop back a little middle screen. Not much there as it's wrapped up at the 20. In fact, it'll be another loss.
Tackle play with number 44.
Again, Bradford on the stop.
Runs pass
Going backwards, they mark it at the 21. It'll be 3rd down and 19 for the Warhawks.
We might be trying to throw that thing up to Big Caleb Perry.
I think that's the only play that's worked so far, and you've got to try to make it work again here. He's in man coverage out here on the near side. Broughton will roll right and throw his way, but he's also got Harris down there. It's underthrown, and he grabbed it on a hop, so Great Crossing will have to punt. Harris had a long run to set up a score last week against Scott County of 52 yards. He's dangerous in all facets, but so much of what Great Crossing does is predicated on being able to keep the defense honest with Colbert up the middle, and they don't have that going for them tonight. So it's a work in progress with 6:21 remaining in the second quarter, and now we'll have a flag. It's been a relatively clean first half, not a lot of laundry on the field. It will be marched off against Shelby County. I don't know if that was a substitution penalty or an offsides or it was before the snap. Still going to be 4th and long, and Perry will punt from his own 12. It's a lower kick this time, returnable on a hop, but it takes a couple of bounces. Now fielded at the 28. Good return, spins forward to the 43, does number 7, Griffin Spencer. We've seen Spencer in pass defense tonight make his presence felt. Now with a good return for Shelby County out to the 43 as they lead 8-0 with 6:07 remaining here in the second quarter on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. I'm Kal Oakes along with Coach Paul Raines.
We need to get a stop here and keep them out of the end zone before half. If they can go in at halftime and kind of evaluate the situation and only down 1 touchdown, then that'll spell well for them in the second half.
Defense has buckled down nicely after that opening scoring drive, but they've had to work hard and carry the load here for the rest of the half as the offense, just other than that 1 first down, has been going backward. Another handoff to the first man through. Good tackle. Wiley just throws down that fullback. It's the
that's Witry, I believe.
Is it number 23?
23, yeah.
That is Caleb Witry. It's a gain of 1. So that play they've seen a lot of, and you can tell lately they've been right on it. And we still don't see 44 in the game, so it's almost like they alternate series with him at fullback, and then they bring in number 40 as the change of pace. Miracle, the quarterback. Kind of a short shotgun snap. Oh, that was a late pitch, and it's on the ground. It's still on the ground, rolling around. Now Lacasco has it for a Great Crossing.
Touchdown.
He's at the 15, the 10, the 5. A big boy touchdown for the Warhawks.
Good players just happen to be in the right spot.
You said the defense needed it. I said they need a turnover more than just a stop, and they got it as Pilot flies to the end zone, and they've got a chance to tie it up if they go for 2. It was bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and rumbling and stumbling, and he finally picked it up at the 15, did Pilot Lacasco, and he takes it to pay dirt for the first points of the night, and they will kick it. They're not going to chase the points yet. At least they're lining up that way as Perry will hold. And they do have their kicker back this week. It's Austin Welch, the senior from the soccer team. If you hadn't heard, the soccer team was in a 14-day quarantine. The kick is blocked. And again, it's Mr. Bradford.
He is
wow. Bradford, all 250 plus of him, blocks the PAT. So it's 8-6 with 5:09 remaining in the half. But it's a big play for Great Crossing.
That's huge. That was a huge play for us. And I'm not sure who messed the option up to begin with, but there was somebody right in the quarterback's face.
Yeah, there was pressure immediately.
And he made a bad pitch, and it went on the ground, and the running back couldn't get on it. And like you said, they fumbled and bumbled and rumbled before finally Lacasco, which was a very athletic move on his part, picking that up on the dead run and scooping it up and taking it in for the score for, I don't know, 20, 25 yards out.
A late decision and probably not the right one for Miracle is rather than take a sack for a small loss at that point, he tried to pitch it to Griffin Spencer, and Spencer was not ready for it. So 8-6, it's a new ball game. It's a night where the Warhawks are probably needed some points out of their defense, and they just got it there.
Nice kick.
Good kickoff to the 10. He's got some room out to the 25, but very well covered by Great Crossing there, and he'll be down at the 26. Wiley was there, along with a cast of several. I think Bird was involved, along with Jarius Patterson. This will be a 1st and 10 for Shelby County at the 26. The Rockets haven't done much offensively since their first drive. It was an impressive one. They mixed and matched quite well with the quarterback and the fullback, but there's been some miscommunication lately.
Well, and the other thing that's happened a couple of these drives, they put them in a passing situation, and I think Shelby County is a much better running football team than they are throwing the ball.
Yeah, when they're going downhill and they're in good down and distance, they're effective, but they're struggling when it's 2nd and 3rd and long. And you know what's the cure for that? Give it to the big fullback and let him rumble up past the marker and give yourself another 1st down. How about 12 yards for Anthony Bradford to the 38?
I think the best thing they do is hope that he gets tired.
And, you know, they try to guard against that on offense. Like I said, I think they alternate series, but he's playing everything on defense and special teams. We saw him block an extra point. We've seen him get a sack defensively. We've seen him stuff the run several times. So, yep, you can hope that if you're Great Crossing that he will wear down.
You just can't tackle him high.
No, you got to hit him down at the knees and
the people,
ankles.
Those big defensive linemen at the front have got to go for those knees when they're coming down on him.
He again will get the ball. This time it's a shorter gain, 2, maybe 3, as he ran into Combs, Witry. That was it. Out past the 40. 4 minutes by the time they snap it. It'll be under that to go in the half. It's Shelby County 8 and Great Crossing 6. Miracle. He keeps it himself this time over the left side. He's stacked up near the 1st down marker at about the 48. Perry was on the tackle there. Of course, he made 24 of them last week against Scott County, so it's no surprise to see Caleb in the middle of it. Haven't called his name much tonight on the defensive end, but part of that has been the style of play of Shelby County. They've been running it right at the heart of that Great Crossing defense. 3rd and a half yard. I would say, once again, Bradford will be a good bet. He can just kind of lean forward and push the stack. It is Bradford. He gets past the 50 before he's still moving forward. Again, that rugby scrum look. It will be a new set of downs for Shelby County at the Great Crossing 48. They can continue doing this and drain most of what remains here in the first half. 2:53 remaining. First and 10. Shelby County on the move, leading 8-6. Great Crossing got its only touchdown on a fumble return, a scoop 6 by Pilot Lukasco. Offensively, it's been mostly the minus category except for 1 first down catch by Caleb Perry. Now it's number 40 again in the game. That 2nd fullback for Shelby County is Dylan Maines. So they alternate with Bradford and Maines. Maines picks up 3. It's 2nd and 7. Make it about 6.5. Ticking down to 2 minutes to go here in the first half. It's been a fairly fast-moving one. Taking his time is Miracle. 155 and rolling. He keeps it right side this time. He's tripped up at the 42, so we're going to have 3rd and 4. Maybe a long 3.
Another big down here, Cal.
Yeah, they've done a better job getting themselves in that 3rd and short, 2nd and short situation in this series. So like you said, the stuff that's been getting them in trouble lately, they've stayed away from. And they've got Bradford out of the game. They have Maines in at fullback. They will give it to Maines. He's got plenty of room. He's got a big lane off left tackle. Now Perry finally catches him, but not before he gets to the 30 with 1:16 to play.
I believe that was that outside veer again, where they're reading the defensive end, and he's used to having the quarterback, and all of a sudden now here's the fullback in front of him, and it's hard to keep up with which one's which.
So time is the enemy for Shelby County, as they will be under a minute by the time they snap it. They're at the Great Crossing 30. I don't know what their kicking situation is. They went for 2 on the touchdown.
Pass.
It will be a throw over the middle, a man wide open, and it is a touchdown. They had the play they wanted and the matchup they wanted as Miracle lofted it over Perry to his man.
Was that Perry or was that Wiley?
Was it Wiley? I saw number 8 back there. It slipped down.
Okay, it may have been then.
But it was a perfectly thrown ball from Miracle.
Kind of lull you to sleep sometimes running the option. And
Run. I believe it was Solomon Bosco on the catch. We haven't called his name tonight. Number 33 made the grab on the deep ball, and the kick is good as well. So with 48 seconds to go in the half, that's a big one because it makes it a 2-possession game. 30-yard touchdown pass to Solomon Bosco from Zachary Miracle. And that puts us at 15-6, and that's a big one because Shelby County, I believe, will get the second half kickoff as well.
Again, that's a young team mistake. You've got 48 seconds to go in the half, and granted, they were driving and had a couple good run plays, but there's still 48 seconds. So you have to figure they're going to put the ball up sooner or later in order to conserve the clock. And Great Crossing just wasn't ready for it that time.
It's the first time we've really seen Zachary Miracle's arm, and he put it right on the money.
Yeah, it's a nice pass. Big thing there, too, with the 2-point conversion that they got earlier. Now they're up 9 points, so they're up 2 scores. That makes it tough.
It does, because that 9-point difference, you've got to score twice. You've already had a kick blocked, so that put them kind of behind the 8 ball. As you said, they elected not to chase the 2-point conversion the first time around. Kick is deep to about the 11. Waiting for the blockers is Bird, and he spins it out across the 30. He's had a couple of nice returns tonight, but again, only 41 seconds remaining in the half, and Great Crossing has to cover 68 yards in a short amount of time.
They do a good job with that wedge, and Bird does an excellent job of setting it up and finding the seam and hitting through. He'll break one of those before this year's over.
He's a very patient runner. We've seen him just in the last 2 weeks, well over 100 return yards. He's had a couple in the neighborhood of 30 yards tonight. Broughton pitches. Coming this way is Coulter. He is down at the 38. So a good gain, but again, time wasting.
19?
You're right. Man, I can't recognize the 8 and the 9 on these uniforms to save my life. It looks like there's this much space between the.
There is. I recognize the running gate.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, I'm glad we got you up here tonight. It'll help me. Plus, they tuck them in, or the way the pads close it up. Now I see 18 and 19 standing next to each other down there in the huddle.
It might be your eyes aren't as good as they used to be.
You know what happens? You get to a certain point. You've been there. You know it. We're We're not that far apart, much as we'd like to not admit to that. It is going to be 2nd and 4 from the 38 with 18 seconds left. Do you have a play in 18 seconds to go that far? Any gadgetry here, a little hook and lateral or anything like that?
Okay.
Yeah, we know we've seen that out of you before. Especially beware if you're Shelby County. Beware if you see number 8 under center, getting ready to take the snap, because he'll do some funky things.
I made the joke last week that Coach Boland, and if I'd have thought, I might have even mentioned him. He should have come out at polecat very first play against Scott County just to torment Monty McIntyre.
Just to mess with Monty a little bit, just to see what he would do. Monty does not want to ever hear the word polecat ever again. I thought that play brought some excitement to a game that obviously was very one-sided, and your team was up against it. So it was a nice little wrinkle.
Gave the fans something to cheer about.
That's right. And again, number 19 on the run, Tyrus Cobbins out past midfield to the 45, and they've given themselves a shot with 11 seconds left. He got out of bounds to stop the clock.
I'm going up top to Caleb Perry.
Why not?
You
got to, athlete against athlete. You got to go with, you got to dance with the one who brought you. You got to send him down there and have a jump ball situation. We know Broughton can throw it that far.
Yes, he can.
Maybe you got time to go to the sidelines one more time, but nope, he's going to go over the middle, and it's going to be picked off, and that's going to be a pick 6. That was just in a bad spot. 65-yard touchdown return, unless they can get the angle, and they can't. It's going to be 6 points for the Shelby Rockets and Landon Ford with no time on the clock, and that is a backbreaker, Coach.
Yeah, that was just a bad decision by Broughton. He kind of just laid it up nice and soft down the seam, and you just can't throw. They have 2 free safeties sitting back there that time, about 15 yards deep. So he was thrown in coverage before the ball was even snapped.
In the final 45 seconds of this half, it went from an 8-6 game where everything had been going Great Crossing's way, especially because of the way the defense had played and gotten you some points. And all of a sudden it's unraveled and become at least a 2-score game. Potentially, if they go for 2, could be a 3-score game here, and that would really be a killer.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with the way they can run the option. And Mr. Jacobs in there at fullback.
You got to think he could get 3 yards.
Yeah. Great Crossing's a little dejected right now. It'd be probably all the momentum in your favor. I'd probably go for 2.
The timing is certainly right, although now a stoppage in play here gives them a little time to collect their thoughts. We got a penalty. Is it going to move it half the distance? I didn't see what it was. Okay, it's a personal foul. I don't know if it's unsportsmanlike or what, but that puts it at the 1.5. Again, we've got kind of a swinging gate formation here.
The big fullback's not in, though, which makes it a little bit different.
I guess they're just going to play it conservatively and take the point. A 16-point lead is still pretty good. It's not technically a 3-possession game, but, boy, you're asking Great Crossing to do an awful lot. Kick is blocked. I didn't see who got a mid up there.
I think it was Lacosco.
I think it was. He's the one that's running this way the fastest. So big play, big momentum play, if nothing else, to kind of counter the momentum play. It doesn't put any points on the board, but it gives you something to feel good about going into the half, doesn't it, Coach?
It does. And, 2 youthful mistakes there. Again, the defensive coverage breakdown with 48 seconds to go in a half, buying in too much on the play action pass. You have to be aware of down situation and clock, and then the poor decision by Broughton there on the seam route. You just can't throw that one up on a seam route. You've got to throw a rope or leave it alone, and he just a bad decision. But all in all, Broughton has thrown some nice balls out there. I'd like to see him get the ball to Caleb Perry a little more often and see what Caleb could do with those jump balls, and maybe we could get back in this thing second half.
Warhawks, by my count, had 1 first down on. Oh no, they 2 because the Cobbins run. at the end of the half. But 2 first downs is not going to get it done. They're going to have to find some ways to move the football in the second half, facing a 21-6 deficit. And, of course, Shelby County will get the ball first to start the second half. So it's been tough sledding here. I kind of thought, looking on paper, this was a game that was winnable for the Warhawks, but Shelby County has come in here on the short notice, short week for both teams, and hung up 21 points, and they've done it in various and sundry fashion. They've moved the ball, grinding it out with the fullback and the quarterback on the option on the opening drive. A nice post pattern to the tight end for the second touchdown, and then the pick six for the third. As we mentioned, Pilot Lacasco, the 15-yard scoop and score on a fumble in the second quarter for the only Great Crossing points. It has been tough sledding for the offense, and that interception was kind of the icing on the cake, I guess, at the end for what the struggle it's been for GC. What are you talking about at half in this situation, Coach? You've been in this. You've been on both sides of the coin, obviously, but obviously on this side quite a few times last year with a young team. What's the message?
Well, the big thing is that you come out and you make some corrections and you play better in the second half than you did in the first half. You know, like you said, we'll have 24 hours to get ready for this opponent. You're facing an option attack. You're facing press man with the corners. There's some things that you're seeing that no matter what film you got or whatever, you're not prepared for. So they'll need to make some offensive adjustments on how they want to best block the defense that they're running and the pressure. They may talk about finding some ways to get Caleb Perry the ball more on the offensive side of the football. And then on the defense side of the ball, they seem to make some changes there as the half went on and made some nice defensive stops. You know, early on the quarterback was running free on the option, but they kind of took that away from him there and caused some fumbles. So I think the big thing there would just be talking to the defensive line linebackers, but getting Big 44 is rolling them because we're up too high and we're trying to arm tackle them.
Yeah, and you made the point that when Shelby County was in second and short, third and short, they were much more effective. When Great Crossing could throw them back or keep them to no gain on first down, it was a much different defense. They could pin their ears back a little bit and get a stop. But it just seemed when Shelby County got rolling downhill, they had so many different things they could do to move the football positively and get things going for themselves. But, you know, all things considered, it was an even game until that last minute. And it shows how quickly it can unravel when you have that youth factor.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, I know it's frustrating for the players and it's frustrating for the coaches to be right there and have a little momentum. Like you said, they really had the momentum on that last drive that they could have took in at halftime, and just 2 plays and it can change around on you.
So an uphill climb here in the second half for Great Crossing as they try to get in the win column. They're down 21-6 to Shelby County. It's going to be an interesting district this year for the Warhawks. We saw an interesting result last night. We were talking off the air a little bit. Grant County got its first win over a 5A opponent in over a decade with 50-40 over Montgomery. That must not a lot of defense played in that game, I guess, but certainly changes the tone of the district a little bit. It's got to make Great Crossing think they got a chance to get a couple of wins. There's a couple of games at least they should be competitive in the district there.
I'm a little confused at that score. You know, Grant we talked before the game, and I don't remember the boy's name, had a fine running back last year that I knew was returning. The quarterback was a pretty good ball player. Well, matter of fact, they lost their quarterback, so maybe he's back, but that's a lot of points for Grant County. Hats off for them and winning their first district game, and that does say that Great Crossing probably have another tough ball game against Grant County.
I could say you can look at both sides of the coin, I guess. You can look at it as now there's 2 winnable games, or you can look at it as there's another team that's vastly improved and is going to have something to say and going to be looking for revenge, certainly. But, you know, one thing I know about Grant County is they had decided the second half of last year never to punt, no matter what situation they were in. In your game and the Scott County game, they did not punt So that might have something to do with hanging 50 points on the board. So obviously, Frederick Douglass, they had a win today at Ballard. It was an interesting game. They were up 34-0. Ballard scored 3 unanswered touchdowns to kind of make a game of it, and then Douglass put it away with a couple of late touchdowns. Saturday morning football over in Louisville, 49-21 the final. They are certainly, if you look at the rankings and the polling and all that, they are number 4 in 5A coming into this week, and Scott County was number 6 in the 5A poll, but so much of that is conjecture and based on a lot of what happened last year in a lot of cases, because this has been such a weird preseason. You've been coaching a long time. Has there ever been? I don't think there's ever been a situation, anything to compare to this year, has there?
No, there's never been anything. You look back at situations you've been in as coach, like last year as me being the head coach at Great Crossings and us not having the locker room and not having equipment, and those are small compared to the issues that are facing these high school coaches now. On a note on that Frederick Douglass Ballard game, I saw on social media today that Jagger Burton.
Yeah, I had a pick six, right?
Had a pick 6. So now he's petitioning University of Kentucky that he gets to play tight end rather than offensive lineman.
Yeah, you talk about big boy touchdowns. He is a grown man, is Mr. Jagger Burton. Just a lot of respect for that guy. You want to talk about a guy you call sir when you're standing next to him. He is staying home to go to UK next year. They've got just no shortage of D1 prospects in the Douglass camp for sure. So that's a team to watch. What a game with North Hardin they had the first week of the year. Just all kinds of talent on the field that night. North Hardin pulled off the win. And all things considered, everything that everybody's been going through, we're off to a good start here in Kentucky high school football. We've made it to week 3 here, and knock on wood around here, everything other than, I guess, the freshman team at Great Crossing had to sit out a couple of weeks. But so far, everybody's dodged the bullets in terms of on the varsity side. The only issue, as we mentioned, unable to go to Lexington this week. I guess Lexington was back in the yellow on the map. That allowed the JV game to go on today for Scott County. They played, I believe it was Lexington Catholic, and picked up a win there. So as long as that stays that way, everything will be good for the time being, and it'll certainly help some of the other sports as well. A lot of their games are against those teams. So.
What is the rule on that, or what is
the
policy?
That is a KHSAA recommendation, quote unquote. Scott County is abiding by that. Both Scott County schools, I think that's a directive from the superintendent, Dr. Hubb, and the administration, that they're going to abide by that, not to play against a red county, not to travel there or to host them. So that came about on Wednesday. And when that happened, they canceled a soccer game that night. They canceled the volleyball game on Thursday, and they said if the map is still red by 5 p.m. on Thursday, we're going to call the football games. Well, that's exactly what they had to do. Yesterday at 5 p.m., it was back in the yellow. So I guess if you'd been willing to wait that long, all's well that ends well. Both teams have gotten to play a game. I think in the end, I know Great Crossing was looking to play another game next week, maybe fill that bye week, but at least they'll get their 8 games in. Scott County will get to add a game in the big scheme of things. It'll cost Douglass. Douglass will have to cancel one of its non-district games in order to make that one up at the end of the season. But it's been good. Certainly special thanks to George Rogers Clark and again tonight Shelby County for coming in, where a lot of us were kind of frustrated. Oh, we're going to have any football to watch this weekend. And instead, we got 2 home games out of the deal. We've enjoyed bringing them to you here on the NFHS Network and newsgraphic.com. And it's been fun bringing you all the home games so far. We want to remind you that next Friday night, this coming Friday night, Scott County will host Ryle, another 6A opponent coming in to face the Cardinals. The Raiders are 1-2. The Cardinals are 3-0. And then Great Crossing has a bye week. We don't know if they'll find an opponent or not. That's been the thing. Everybody around Kentucky has kind of put their name out there on social media looking for opponents at the last minute. Quite often they've been able to put I think Pikeville came up to Henry Clay last night, and between the two teams, they scored about 100 points. So that was one of those games that was thrown together at the last minute as well.
Kind of like pick up basketball down at the local park. You show up, and then I say, "All right, boys, who's up? All right, we'll play you."
It kind of it is if you're good at whatever your base is, whatever you do well offensively, whatever you do defensively, I think you can get away with that in football. If you kind of have an identity crisis, it's tough to prepare for a team, I would think, on 2 days like that.
Yeah, and again, in Great Crossing situation with so much youth, they've not seen a lot of the things that a veteran team has seen over the years. So when you're trying to line up the day before the game and say, all right, this is their formations, this is what they're doing, this is their defensive front, besides personnel and execution and all that, just getting kids lined up right off is hard when you've only had 1 day of preparation.
I saw Coach Bowling kind of hanging out at the soccer game this morning. I'm sure he was trying to give his eyes a rest after staying up all night watching film of Shelby County. It's been a long couple of days. It's been like cramming for a test, I guess, for all these coaches and kids. All things considered, it's been a fairly clean game other than the interception and the fumble, but not a lot of penalties, and both teams have had moments, flashes of excitement there, but it was the last minute of the half was all Shelby County, as they have mounted a 21-6 lead here over the Warhawks, who will have to come back on a Saturday night, and we see them coming back from the halftime huddle as Jake Broughton and Jacob Coulter playing catch down here. I think they're gonna have to air it out a little bit to get back in this game. They're not gonna have any choice.
Maybe Cobbins can, he got loose there before half. Of course, it was more of a preventive type defense at that time, but Cobbins was able to do a little bit of work there at the fullback, and maybe, like I said, I'm not sure how much they knew what the defense was going to look like tonight before they got out here on the field, but hopefully maybe they can make a few wrinkles here against this defense and make some plays out of it.
Yeah, you always talk about halftime adjustments, but on a night like this, they're even more significant because sometimes it's really the first time you've seen this team live and, haven't spent a whole week preparing for what they do, and maybe you can come up with some answers, especially on the offensive side. I think defensively, things have gone pretty well as long as you can stay and push them back a little bit and make them throw, I think, is the key. They hit that one, but other than that, they didn't really test his arm.
But that was not a hard pass to defend.
No.
It was just a matter of –
Man fell down, I think.
Yeah, the safety kind of bit up in there on the run and shouldn't have had his nose up in there and then fell down trying to get turned back around. Or that could have easily been a pick, matter of fact. The ball was not that well thrown.
The Great Crossing offense will try to get untracked. Only 2 first downs in that half. The run by Cobbins late in the half and a good catch early as Perry went up and got it. That was the only time those are the only 2 times they crossed midfield as an offense. The points came on the defensive gym. And that's not good. Coulter's holding his right arm after playing pass down there. At least he's not the quarterback.
Young football team.
Yeah, they're still kids for sure, and it's what you get.
That's one of the reasons I retired, Cal. I've 28 years of coaching, and quite a few young football teams in there will.
I had a coach one time say to me, "You know what's the great thing about having a lot of freshmen?" I said, "What's the great thing about having a lot of freshmen is they become sophomores." Yeah, and then those sophomores become juniors and so on and so forth. But there's no substitute for maturity and size and strength and experience, especially in this game, as we mentioned. A lot of guys in tops but not bottoms down there on the Great Crossing sideline. That's never good. You see Colbert down there. You see one of the quarterbacks, Nichols. He was in the quarterback derby to start this season. They settled on Broughton, and part of that was because of that injury to Nichols. Perry was the quarterback for just about the whole season last year, obviously, but they're trying to get him involved in different ways, which I think is a smart move if you've got the personnel to get away with it.
Well, I think Perry at the next level will be a defensive player.
He'll be a safety or a linebacker, I would think.
Safety or a linebacker. So they're able to keep him on the field the entire game on the side that he really excels at. But it's still at the same time with this team, and even I'm not sure any team in the state that you wouldn't want him on the offensive side of the ball and trying to get him the football. And it's just a matter of trying to find some creative ways to get him the ball.
Yeah, you've got to get your best athlete involved somehow on that side, I would say. They put 3 minutes back on the clock, so not quite ready here for the second half. We'll mention our sponsors one more time, the people that make the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network possible. Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. Georgetown News Graphic. Of course, you can read about this game, read about the Scott County game, read about all the soccer and cross-country, golf, et cetera, that was played today. We had Billy Tom Sargent playing in a PGA Corn Ferry Tour event. All that good stuff is online 24/7 and in print on Tuesdays and Fridays only in the Georgetown News Graphic. DMK CPA, that's Denise M. Keene. She's a certified public accountant for all your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties, real estate buying and selling made easy. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. Clark's Pump and Shop with 3 and soon to be 4 Georgetown locations. Georgetown Community Hospital, where health and safety remain our #1 priority. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington, great people, great cars. Think Greens. Ozer Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. Scott County Veterinary Clinic, we love and treat your pets like our own. Come join the Scott County Veterinary Clinic family. People's Bank, working together, building success. Come see us at 101 Canewood Center Drive. Time to Shine Car Wash. Your car will shine at Time to Shine. 8 Lexington area locations to serve you. Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, ready to meet all of your insurance needs. Burger King, home of the Whopper, and it's 2 Georgetown locations. And Domino's Pizza, check out their new Georgetown location on the corner of Champion Way and US 25. Those are your Bird's Nest Broadcasting sponsors. Once again, Bird's Nest Broadcast Network will be on the air this coming Friday night back here at Bird's Nest Stadium. We're here just about every week. I think there's 1 week on the schedule where both teams are on the road. Scott County will be hosting Ryle on Friday night. It'll be an off week for GC. Scott County will be on the road for 3-4 weeks after that, leading up to the whenever they do play the Douglas game. That'll be here. Great Crossing will have 3 home games down the stretch out of 4 weeks, if memory serves. So plenty of action here on the network. We thank Coach Paul Raines for joining us tonight. Derek Varney will be back with me on Friday to bring you that Scott County Ryle action. Warhawks will kick to Shelby County to start the second half. And they are in a 21-6 hole. Great Crossing still seeking that first home victory in the program's history. Of course, that memorable win at Grant County. How does that win rank? You know, you've had all those wins in your career, and you've won a state championship. You've been at 8 different schools, but to have that one and see the look in those kids' eyes and what it meant to them had to have been right up there.
It was, Cal. You know, it's all about the kids, and for those players to trust in us and trust in the process of going to a new school and work as hard as they did and just literally take the lumps and bruises that they took throughout the year and to win that thing. You would have thought that we won the state championship that night. You know, the players were crying, the coaches were crying, the parents were crying. We took the bus through town, had a little parade there going through town, and it's one of the more memorable wins that I've had in my career.
I mean, there were 2 videos after that game, one of you addressing the team and one of the parade down Main Street with the fire trucks. And heck, I was almost crying watching those. So it was, I can understand the emotions and to get kids to buy in, as you said. And it was such a long journey to get to that point in the season. Just had to have been a special moment. Shelby County on the return, and it's a long one out past the 45. He's still on his feet and taken down just shy of midfield. And he's been all over the place tonight. Number 7, Griffin Spencer, on pass defense and on kick returns. On the downside, he was involved in that play with the pitch that ended up being a great crossing touchdown. So he's been in all phases. Shelby County will start it at its own 49, so they are in good shape, are the Rockets.
Shelby County will take over on the 49-yard line.
I think they'll get a steady diet of the fullback, don't you agree?
I was sitting here looking at the big boy, and I thought, well, here he comes.
He's had time to get some Gatorade in him. And there he is, pushing, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, and down to the 42, gain of 9.
I had a running back at Dunbar for a couple of years there, played defensive line and running back, went about 280. And man, he was a load, very athletic, much like this kid. This is just not a big kid out here. This is a very large athlete that is running that football. And, man, it's tough in high school when you got somebody that kind of size.
Yeah, I mean, he's outweighing some of the guys at that second level by 100 pounds if he gets there. You know, shotgun snap again. It will be the big fullback, and he has got 20 plus out to the 20-yard line. And my goodness, Mr. Anthony Bradford, he came in tonight as their second leading rusher. The quarterback had the lion's share of the yards, but tonight it's been Bradford. He's picked it all up on this drive, 31 in 2 chunks to the Scott County 20.
He went over and got him a Gatorade at halftime.
Maybe they got him a couple of hot dogs, a burger, Snickers. You don't look like yourself. Here's a Snickers.
He is ready to roll now here in the second half.
And there's a jump, and there's some contact. I don't know who jumped first. I think Greg Crossing was probably in the neutral zone as Shelby County is signaling such. Of course, they're going to say that. But they will march off the 5 closer to the end zone. It will be 1st and 5 at the 15. And what you don't want if you're Great Crossing is a quick score for Shelby County, because that would be just about lights out.
Yeah, in Great Crossings, I'm sorry to say, but they look a little flat on the defensive side of the ball. Again, they're tackling the big boy up top, and there's just no use in even trying that.
And, you know, that'll soften up a few other things, too. If you get too focused on trying to tackle him, they've shown they can strike in other ways. They will stay with Bradford, and this time it'll only be a gain of 1, maybe a yard and a half.
Fisher came down and made a good play on him that time.
Orion Fisher has made a couple of tackles tonight. We've been able to mention his name. Been a little quieter with Perry on the defensive side compared to 24 tackles against Scott County, but it's been a by committee effort tonight. 2nd and 4. I think they will just saddle up number 44 and see what they can get out of him here on this drive. It's been all Bradford to this point. Miracle again out of the gun. It's Bradford up the middle, just pushing forward, 1st and goal at the 6.
That defensive end on that weak side is awfully wide to be trying to stop the option. And all they did that time was just turn him out, and there was just a huge hole coming off that right guard that Bradford was able to run through. And once he gets going downhill, you're not going to tackle him.
Need to force another turnover here. It's a lot to ask of your defense. They're on their heels right now. It is at the 6-yard line, 1st and goal for the Rockets. It's been all Anthony Bradford on this series since the good kick return out to midfield. Bradford again up to the 3. And Great Crossing will put him down there, but he'll have 3 more cracks to get the 6 points.
Good hit there on defense. I couldn't really make out the number.
It's hard to see who came up. Looks like Combs getting up. Nope. Is that Combs? Yeah, it's Combs at the bottom of the pile, but I'm not sure who hit him first.
I think it was 22.
That's Allen.
Allen that came up and made a nice pop on him, stopped his momentum.
Caden Allen with a bunch of stops last week against Scott County. Not hard to figure out who's probably going to get the ball here. Untouched. And I mean, not even a rumor of contact as Anthony Bradford finishes what he started with a 3-yard touchdown with 8:11 remaining in the third quarter. And that was just about the worst case scenario if you're Great Crossing on that drive.
That was that weak side dive that I mentioned earlier. The defensive end is just a little bit too wide, and by turning him out, it's just hard to stop 44 in there with those linebackers. They're pretty much helpless.
93 set to kick the extra point.
I think a lot of human beings would be helpless against Anthony Bradford. He is tough to stop. Like they fake it. I don't know if it was a bad snap or by design, and they smother Mr. Griffin out at the 20.
I believe that was Lane Allen again on him. Him and
Lacasco. Lacasco was
yeah.
involved. If it's been a defense or special teams play, he's been involved in it. So Anthony Bradford, we'll call him 250-pound plus fullback, gets all 51 yards on that drive. And he finishes it with a 3-yard plunge to make it 27-6. So it's a 3-score game with 8:11 remaining in the third quarter. Tough night for the Great Crossing offense, but they're going to have to get something done here and in a hurry.
Kicking off for Shelby County's number 18.
Yeah, this one's going to get out of hand on them unless we're able to get some offense and get the ball. Yeah, at least get the ball across midfield and change field position around.
They have not had great field position at all. Like you said, they've crossed midfield twice and barely. Another deep kick to Bird. Up the middle to the 35. He's had 3 or 4 nice returns tonight. They've had plenty of chances to return kicks, as Shelby County has hung 4 on the board. With its vaunted running game mixed in with a little play-action deep throw late in the first half. Pretty much the only pass they've needed to complete all night. Other than that, been the big fullback softening everything up, Mr. Anthony Bradford. Pitch to this side. It's Harris. He's dragging a couple of would-be tacklers past the stick. It'll be a first down for the Warhawks out at the 48. Well-designed play there to get some
nice
momentum.
Play there. Great block by Caleb Perry out here on the perimeter. He took that corner and pushed him 15, 20 yards downfield.
And on the tackle was number 8 and number 13.
Perry checking in at 190 pounds, and he's tough to be hit by in the open field. He does a lot of hitting on the defensive side. Quickly thrown down is Harris this time, and it's Bradford making the solo stop for a loss of a yard.
He came around from the backside. That's that second back play that they had a little bit of success with against Scott County, and he came around from the backside and tackled him from behind. So.
2nd and 11. Another tackle for loss for Bradford. Not his first of the night by any stretch. He's just got an amazing motor to just be able to go in all phases of the game at his size. Keeper for Broughton out on this short side of the field. He will scamper to the 45, make it the 44. That'll be a 3rd and short. Call it 2. Gives you some options. Good tempo here on this series, too. Great Crossing snapping right out of the huddle. I think they've got to do that, kind of not only with the time and the score, but just the size of the guys on the Shelby County side. Broughton again keeps it. He'll have the first down to the 37. So that's something we didn't see a ton of in the first half is Broughton's feet. We're seeing it here.
They're doing a good job with the option right now. The blocking seems to be cleaned up a little bit up front. There's some nice holes for Broughton to tuck up in there and run. Caleb Perry is doing an excellent job. And again, just showing just over athlete in this corner out here on the outside. He's stopped blocking 10, 15, 20 yards down the field when they're running this way.
and an unselfish athlete at that, a team player who makes his team better just by doing the little things like that. It's a pitch, and it's a late developing pitch, and it's thrown down for a big loss as Cobbins had nothing there. That'll be all the way back to the 45.
Defense had the numbers on that side from the get-go. They had two guys outside the tackle box that were coming. That play was doomed from the get-go, but you don't always know that before the ball snapped.
No. Negative plays are one thing, but a loss of 8 on the first down is not what you want at this stage with under 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Clock rolling on a 27-6 game. Shelby County lead. It's a bad option pitch that's mishandled and picked up by Shelby County. And the turnover game bites the Warhawks here as number 54, Aiden McGee, with the fumble recovery. So the turnover at the end of the half, and now a good drive going. And Shelby County has it. So, tough break for Great Crossing. And that's one of the things with the triple option. I love it as an offense, but there's some risk involved in it. You're always, you're making that pitch at the last second, and there's so much timing involved in it sometimes.
Well, the pitch, when I coach the option, the pitch is kind of the last resort. If you've not got a nice, clear path on that pitch, then quarterback just needs to keep it and take the loss or take the no gain or whatever it is, because that pitch is dangerous. And we've seen that from both teams tonight.
It cost them on the touchdown by Pilot.
Cost them on a touchdown from Pilot. You just can't make risky pitches.
Another big gain. This one's by Maines, the second back for Shelby County, as he is in Great Crossing territory at the 34. So Shelby County on the move once more. Another good run by Maines inside the 30 before he's taken down by Perry with some help from Fisher.
Pick up 6 on the play, brings up a second down and 4.
So a long night getting longer with the second key turnover in a short span. And Shelby County on the march at the Great Crossing 30. 4:35 to play in the third quarter. It's a 27-6 Rocket lead. Keeper for the quarterback, Miracle, on the right edge. He zigzags to the 20 before he's wrapped up by a couple of Warhawks there.
Little load option. They ride that fullback to the outside, then he just follows up and becomes the lead blocker for the quarterback, and that's a tough play to stop.
Shelby County, as we mentioned, coming in off a running clock loss to North Bullitt. So things have turned around for them in a hurry as they look to go 2-1 on the season. Get themselves comfortably in front right now. Great Crossing jumped, and we'll have a flag. I don't know if Shelby flinched first or not. They'll call it encroachment on the Warhawks, so march it 5 yards closer to that, I guess, northwest end zone here at Birds Nest Stadium.
On the 16-yard line.
At the 16 now of the Warhawks, Miracle, the quarterback, in the shotgun. He will hand it off to the big guy up the middle. Inside the 5, Anthony Bradford's been the story. When he isn't carrying the ball, he makes a lot of other things happen for them. First and goal for the Rockets at the 5.
Some of those boys will be seeing 44 coming at them tonight in their dreams.
Or nightmares.
Yeah, nightmares.
Yes. It's they're going to feel it tomorrow morning too.
Yeah.
Some of that contact, trying to bring him down. not something, it's not a one-man job. Bradford again, call it 6. And it's going to be 34-6 pending the extra point. With 2:58 remaining in the third quarter, Bradford punches it in from 5 yards out. So every turnover, both turnovers have turned into scores. Shelby County having its way right now.
Yeah, you can't give them a short field.
No, I mean, they've started their last 2 drives at the 50. And that's just letting Bradford run downhill is what that's doing. Kick is up, and it is good. And it's a 28-point margin with 2:58 left in the third.
Extra point is good. 2 minutes and 58 seconds to go in the third quarter. Your score, Shelby County 34, Great Crossing 6.
So Bradford has been the story. He's we don't have WL stats here like we do for Scott County, but he's got to be over 100 yards. When I go back and watch the film and add it all up, I'm sure it will be past the century mark. And that's really in limited time. He shared the job with Maines. The quarterback's done some running, of course, as we knew coming in that he could do.
Well, he's what makes the offense go, much like when Caspin has run well for Great Crossings last year against Grant County. We mentioned that game earlier. Caspin's really had a great game running inside, and that just opens up so much more off the quarterback keep on the option and the pitches and even the play action passing when you've got that big fullback hitting it up in there.
Kick off to Bird once more. Nope, there's a collision, a little miscommunication. It will be Bird. Not as good a return this time as he didn't have the running start. He'll be taken down at the 25. And that's where Great Crossing will go to work with 2:52 remaining in the third quarter. It's a lot of work to be done. They're chasing a 34-6 deficit. But more than that, you really just want to get some sort of good feelings going here and get some positive momentum with offense, and not really worry about what the scoreboard says, I think. Broughton over the middle, broken up. It was a quick slant. Coulter was there, but number 7, he's had that close coverage all night, Griffin Spencer, and got a hand in there, I think. 2nd and 10. Handoff up the middle. Haven't seen that much tonight without Colbert. It's going to be Cobbins. He's made the edges work a couple of times. He'll get about 5, maybe 6. Make it 3rd and 4 for the Warhawks with their own 32. Call it 5 from the 31. Broughton hands off to Cobbins again. He's got a seam up toward midfield before he's taken down. So Cobbins has been kind of the spark plug on offense tonight. They haven't had a lot going for them, but we saw a couple of runs. We saw a run at the end of the first half, and now a couple here to get some positive momentum going for the Warhawks offense.
He's a smaller running back, and he's kind of hard to find back there behind the offensive line. And then once he gets through, he's got a good quick step, and he's into the secondary here on a couple of these runs.
Didn't see him a lot, if at all, last week. Usually when they needed a change of pace from Colbert, they went with Harris, or they went with Broughton, or they went with Perry. Tonight it's Cobbins back there, and you're right, he can hide. It's a totally different dynamic than Shelby County. This time he's nowhere to hide this time, but he made something out of nothing, got at least a yard as he surges forward, sticks the nose over midfield. Right at midfield. It's only the 3rd time all night that the Warhawks offense has been there. It's been kind of the the glass ceiling or the invisible wall, as it were. They haven't been able to do much beyond that. Another handoff straight up the middle. Spinning is Cobbins. He'll get it to the 45. They'll make it 3rd and 4, so they're in Shelby County territory. About 75 seconds remaining here in the third quarter as Great Crossings offense has not scored tonight. Their 6 points came on a fumble return by Pilot Lacasco of 15 yards in the second quarter. And that didn't fool anybody as 4 Shelby County Rockets were all over. I guess it was Cobbins. Yep. Loss of 3 back to the 48. That'll make it 4th and 8. Be interesting to see what they do. I mean, you're whether you lose by 28 or 36 doesn't matter. I think you probably go for it. They will, at least at this point, line up. Broughton out of the gun. Steps and fires to Fain, who is a quick slant, and he's got room to the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Casey Fain.
Nice play. Great pass to Fain from Broughton, and then Casey's got enough speed and quickness. And Caleb Perry, once again, was downfield, made a great key block for him to spring that open for a touchdown.
The only question was, would they cut him off? Would they find an angle? And they did not, as Fain with the score. Broughton with the nice quick throw, and that was a well-designed play to get 6 on the board and cut it to 34-12 in the final seconds here of the third quarter. Fain's second touchdown of the year. He had a rushing touchdown at Woodford County on opening night. There's the kick from Welch. It's good. 34-13 is your score, so it's a 3-touchdown game once again. Now see if you can get a 3 and out, and you never know.
But something to build off of.
Right, and that's kind of what we said. You want to just get something.
That's a good offensive series for them. Had some good runs, had a nice little pass play there. A little confidence booster in the offense. And for a young football team, the small victories are important.
Casey Fain with a nice – Casey Fain, one of the few seniors that sees a lot of action on this team. As you have said and I've said many times, it's still a very young group. And he gets the touchdown here to put Great Crossings offense in the column. (34-13), Shelby County on top. The Rockets out of Class 4A, 6-6 a year ago, 6-5 rather, 6-6 the year before that when they made it to the second round of the playoffs. As recently as 2016, they were in the Final Four in Class 4A.
So they went through a lot of the same transition that Scott County's currently going through now.
Right, with Collins.
Martha Lane, the first couple of years, got all the athletes and ended up winning the state championship, I believe, or were state runner-up. No, I think they won it against Highlands, their first or second year.
That's crazy.
That they had a school. And then Shelby County, of course, dropped down a little bit, and now it's kind of balanced back out, I think, over the last 4 or 5 years, where both schools are pretty much on even footing.
Onside kick. Great Crossing never really had a chance to recover that as Shelby County fell on it. There was a flag, but they wave it off. It's going to be a Rockets ball right at midfield. There's going to be time for one play here in the third quarter. Here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network, Kal Oakes along with Coach Paul Raines. Newsgraphic.com and NFHS Network, bringing you all the action of the home games here this season. We've got a bunch more, starting with Ryle at Scott County this coming Friday night. Happy to have a Saturday night game. I love the idea of having both teams home and being able to watch them both. That's a rare treat for me. First man through is the fullback. He'll pick up 4. A little spin move there to get Bradford across midfield. Time runs out in the third quarter with your score. Shelby County 34, Great Crossing 13. 12 minutes to play here on a beautiful night in Georgetown.
We have someone down for Shelby.
Who won that Texas Tech game? Did you ever find out?
Texas ended up winning, I think,
Yeah.
by maybe 9 or something.
Wow,
It was a high scoring affair.
Yes, it was. That was a typical Big 12 matchup.
I'm still shaking my head at the Mississippi State game.
We've got a player flat down on his face for Shelby County. He's moving his legs a little bit, but they are running out to him. Now he's kind of clutching his knee, so I don't know. About breaking the action here after the final play of the third quarter.
Texas 63, Texas Tech 56.
So, I hope you played the over. 119 total points. My goodness gracious.
It's good to have college football back.
Yeah, boy. And now we have all the conferences going to play at least some semblance of a season, even if it's just 6 or 7 games for some of them. The player is up and getting some help off, number 55. Good to see that. Angel Perez, one of their linemen.
And that's the end of the third quarter. He'll score 34-13.
They'll switch ends. They won't have to do much work to switch ends because the ball is at the Great Crossing 46. Great Crossing, as of now, with a bye week after this, before they get back into their district schedule. Obviously, a tall order against Frederick Douglass, but then a couple of other opponents in Grant County and Montgomery County that certainly should be competitive games for the Warhawks. You have to win one to make the playoffs at the very least. If you can win them both, there might be another battle of the birds, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. A little sweep on the first play of the quarter. Gets down inside the 40 before 4 Warhawks converge. Perry was there. Wiley was there. Fisher and Allen. Allen gets up a little lame, maybe cramping up. Either that or somebody landed on him awkwardly. It was quite a stack of blue jerseys. Ball's at the 39. That's a first down for Shelby County. They're on the move once more. Of course, the onside kick recovery helped in that respect. Another play up the middle by the big man to the 31.
That fullback almost gets completely past the quarterback before he bellies that ball. There's been 2 or 3 times I thought the quarterback had it because the fullback is past him when he puts that ball in his belly.
It's a big target.
Yeah.
For sure. And he puts it in there, and he's got a full head of steam by the time he gets it. And you can see the end result. It is 2nd and 2, gain of 8 for Anthony Bradford. Bradford again, first down and more. He makes a guy miss. As you said, he's very athletic and elusive for a guy his size. He takes it down to the 17.
Costco on the tackle.
He's on his knees right now. I think maybe he could use a drink.
I think Pilot hinted to him, I ought to go take a break.
He said, I'm still here.
Go get you a break, big guy.
It's a slow and leisurely walk back to the huddle. He's going to stay in. Anthony Bradford, tip of the cap to number 44. He has earned his keep tonight. Buy a mistake dinner. Another play on the edge that the Warhawks are all over, and it's a fumble. Ball on the ground. Now they're going to rule it down. Yep, they're going to say down by contact. It's a good thing for Shelby County because Peyton Harris was going the other way. Perry made the stop. The officials were right there, so I'm not going to say much. They're a lot closer than I was. 10:01 to play. Clock is stopped. Well, now it's rolling again. Ball's at the 18, 2nd and 11. Time, obviously, not Great Crossing's friend at this point. They need 3 scores. Miracle to throw. He's got a man down there, but it's off his fingertips. He had another man open in the middle. Spencer was the intended receiver. He was pretty well covered by Jarve Ray. 3rd down and long, 3rd and 11. They're inside the 20, so in the red zone once again. Great Crossing needs a stop. They need several stops, but they need one here, certainly, with 9:28 and the clock stopped.
Maybe get a timeout here.
Yep, that's what we're going to get. Anthony Bradford says, I'm glad of that. He's worked hard on this drive and every drive. Good crowd of friends and family here for Great Crossing. Of course, with the tickets still limited to 2 per participant. I would guess, rough estimate, about 40, 50 people made the trip from Shelby County to watch the Rockets perhaps get a win on the road. There's still 9 minutes and 28 seconds to play.
There's a pretty good sized crowd here on the
Saturday night with
Saturday
SEC
night.
football going on. Of course, Kentucky playing at noon helped. We won't talk much more about that.
Leave that one. Let that
Yeah,
down
that one let that simmer. My goodness. So, these officials haven't missed any calls like that one. I'll say that. They've done a good job. 3rd and 11 for Shelby County. It is the first man through, the fullback. Anthony Bradford just continues ringing up the yards. It'll be 4th and
Nope,
it's going to be a first down. Did he get the first down? My goodness, he needed 11 and he got 11. It's at the 7-yard line. He got exactly where he needed to go. You don't think of that as a traditional 3rd and 11 play, but when your running back is built like a truck, why not? First and goal, 4 chances to take a crack at it with 9 minutes left in the game. Shelby County trying to build on a 34-13 lead. Miracle keeps it himself, takes it inside the 5 down to the 2. Wiley is there to make the tackle. They'll mark it at the 3.
Witcher did a nice job on the fullback that time, stopped him in the backfield, and of course, quarterback did a super job reading that, pulled it, and picked up another 3 or 4 yards.
He's done a nice job directing that offense. Has Mr. Miracle, Zachary Miracle, came into tonight with 253 rushing yards in 2 games. That's a lot for a QB. 126.5 per game. That's an easy call to go to the fullback, Bradford, for his 3rd score of the night. It'll be from 3 yards out this time, and with 8:11 to play, this one is all over but the cosmetics of it and the final details, as Shelby County has hung up 40.
Bradford may take a much needed rest, much deserved rest.
I think he probably can take the rest of the game off, at least on offense.
Kicking for Shelby County is number 93. The extra point is no good.
No good on the kick, so it'll stay at 40-13 with 8:11 to play. But Shelby County answers the Great Crossing touchdown with one of their own. They recover the onside kick, and Anthony Bradford scores his third TD of the night from 3 yards out.
Team of physicians from Bluegrass Orthopedics and athletic trainers Kayla Hanson and Ainsley Swan to provide sports medicine coverage for all of our athletic programs. Kayla and Ainsley can be found on the sideline.
Warhawks offense will go back to work and see if they can get something done again. Nice little touchdown on the last series. A fourth down connection, catch and run. Jake Broughton to Casey Fain. Bird and Brown back to return the kick for the Warhawks, who, barring unforeseen crazy circumstances, will fall to 0-3. It's been a tough night offensively without their fullback. You hope it's not a season-ending thing. Anytime you see a cast and you hear broken bones, it's definitely usually a few weeks, but hand is different from a leg, so we'll see. Bird, not much there as he stops shy of the 20, and GC will take over there at the 19.
Pick up a 10 on the return, and on the tackle, number 13.
Bird took a pretty good hit that time.
Yeah, that was a lick. The returns have gotten shorter each one, it seems like. A 30-yarder to start the game, then 20, and then 10, and that was more like 5. And it was a big stick. Broughton, straight drop, throw down the middle to Perry. Nope, knocked down. Knocked away there by number 11, Sean Thompson.
Good coverage there by Thompson.
Good coverage, but a good call because you got to give your man a chance to go make a play. It's been a while since we've seen them throw the ball Caleb's way. Second and 10. On the outside again, is that Cobbins? Hard to see over on the far side.
It might be Fain.
Fain again, yeah. I think you might be. It's Harris. Well, we'll get the third time's the charm.
You're right, Kyle. The numbers are tough.
And then when you get over on that side of the field, forget it. At least we've got white on blue and blue on white.
Yeah.
That helps. It's these black on red and gold on white that are bothersome. The Scott County Bryant Station game was just forget it. Now a little conversation. I don't know if it's about the spot or I guess we're going to have a measurement. That's what it is. First one of the night. Notice they're doing fewer measurements this year. I don't know if it's a COVID thing or what, but I don't remember seeing many at all. They're trying to make the decisions on the fly. And they check it here. It is short of the first down. Third and about a foot. .7:51 remaining in the game. 40-13. Great Crossing trails. They have the ball. Broughton will just sneak it. He'll move it past the marker and up to the 35. So a good play there by the quarterback. Everybody knew what he was going to do, but he still got 5-6 yards out of it.
Good blocking by that young offensive line.
Getting it done up front a little better in this half, certainly. There's been more forward progress for the Great Crossing offense. Good blocking on the outside by Caleb Perry and others, as you've mentioned, too, on a lot of the other plays to make that happen. But this one, the heart of that line, getting it done in the trenches. First and 10 at the 35. Another score here would be great to go home on. Go into the bye week on. Broughton, screen to Fain. Can't get anything done this time as he could not spin away.
I think thing about running screens at the high school level, especially late in the game, like you got to get a pass rush.
Yeah.
And if they don't rush the passer, then the screen's not real effective because they're sitting right there when you throw it. So
Exactly
there
right.
wasn't a lot of pass rush on that. He was sitting back there by himself, turning and throwing with the defensive lineman just sitting right there beside Payne. So it's tough sometimes at this level because you want them to come after the quarterback on screens, and Shelby County didn't get much of a rush that time.
Solomon Bosco made the tackle and fell hard on his shoulder. I think he got the wind knocked out of him more than anything else. He got up and kind of jogged off. Under 7 minutes now to go in the game. It is a big loss back to the 28, 2nd and 17. Broughton under pressure, throws it up. Perry will go and get it. Nice adjustment by Caleb, and he's in the open field to the 30, to the 25. He has one man to beat. Touchdown, Caleb Perry. 72 yards from Jake Broughton.
Got to get the big man the ball.
Feed the big dog and let him eat.
Caleb just does a great job of finding the ball on high point. Broughton got hit as he threw it, so the ball was really not a very well thrown ball.
It was a floater.
It was a floater out there, but Caleb did a great job of coming back to it, and that's what you want to do. You just put it out there for him and let the big guy go get the ball, and it resulted in a nice touchdown for Great Crossing.
One of the longer touchdowns in school history, probably 72 yards. Reminiscent of that play in the first game last year. The kick is good, and it's 40-20. So Shelby County doubling up Great Crossing here, but certainly some nice big plays by the Warhawk offense here in the fourth quarter to make it look a little better.
Well, like I said earlier, Cal, a lot of it for this Great Crossing team, being the young as they are again this year, is just the small victories, execution, and being rewarded for that execution, and continued improvement week in, week out.
So Jake Broughton with a couple of TD passes, certainly of the catch and run variety. Nice plays by Casey Fain and now Caleb Perry. Certainly will pad the quarterback stats, but got some help there. Some great athleticism. And now another onside kick. First one was none too challenging for Shelby County. You want to get a little bit of a skip and a jump here and give some of your athletes time to go get it. Interesting, Shelby County's hands team has a lineman up front. .6:33 remaining. And
good kick.
Yes, beautifully designed, and the kicker went and recovered it, I believe.
That was an excellent onside. I was just ready to say there's an art kicking those things.
Gervais Ray recovers the onside kick.
Great execution right there.
Not over. Don't leave. They can score quickly and do that again. They've made it entertaining here in the fourth quarter. It's turned into a wild one. Late in the first half, it was 8-6. Now it's a 40-20 game. And Great Crossing has the ball at the Shelby County 44. Trying to score again and make this even more interesting. Broughton with a throw over the middle. Nice adjustment and catch by Harris. Sliding catch for a first down, I believe, is where they'll mark it. Now what do we got? We got a flag back here. It might be wiped out.
I believe you got a personal foul on Shelby County. I saw number 10 for Shelby just literally pick up Cobbins and body slam him out there.
Yeah, you can't do that.
After the play was over.
Cobbins is still shrugging, saying, what's that all about?
Now, you never know. It may be first man, second man. You never know.
Yeah, sometimes they never, you don't know if they're going to see the retaliation or the, and it is looking like they're going to back up Great Crossing. And the fans don't like it because they saw what you saw. is it going to be an offsetting
I would
situation?
think it's at least offsetting because
Yeah, it's going to wipe out the play is what it's going to do. It's exactly what's going to
Nope,
happen.
they're moving it up.
Oh, they are. Okay. I don't know what the fans are upset about. Maybe they want him thrown out of the game. I don't know.
so it must have been offsetting.
Okay, so they're going to count the – I don't know what they did. The end result is 1st down and 2, which makes no
No,
sense.
the chain's wrong.
Okay, yeah, they got to fix that. We'll let them sort this out, but Great Crossing is going to gain some yardage out of this. The question is, where are the chains going to be? If it's offsetting penalties, I would think they need to replay the down. Yeah, okay. They're going to count the play plus 15. So it's
yards.
It's at the 31 now. We don't know, but it's a 1st down for the Warhawks. I'm confused. None of this makes sense. I think they're just guessing. That's okay. It's getting late. Broughton under center. Quick throw. That might have been partially blocked. Unless it was blocked. I think 35 got a hand on it, and they said it would have been a forward pass otherwise. Harris was the intended receiver. All heck breaking loose here in the past minute or so.
That was close because the running back had backed up behind the quarterback when he threw that ball.
He had. The end result will be 2nd and 10 at the 31. Great Crossing. On the move again. Straight handoff, nothing there. Stacked up immediately, and there was a flag. I don't know if that was after the whistle. Cobbins again getting roughed up.
Get a little testy out there.
Yep. People starting not to like each other after close to 32 minutes of action tonight. Still 6:09 to play. Actually close to 48 minutes.
Got a flag on the play.
We're having a long conversation now. The officials have had 2 significant meetings here on this drive. They are walking it off against Shelby County again, and it's going to be the 15-yard variety. I don't know if it was a face mask or unnecessary roughness or what, but it's going to be 1st down at the 16. Didn't see any signal other than the personal foul. Warhawks threatening once more to make this a game. They've still got 3 timeouts to play with. They're down 3 scores. Crazier things have happened. Broughton over the middle, caught, spun away, Fain, touchdown! His 2nd score of the half, cuts it to 40-26.
Broughton made a nice throw, and Fain made a nice adjustment to the coverage on that. They had the safeties back about 16 yards, so instead of those wings running them off and taking them vertical, Fain just hooked up right there about the 5-yard line, caught the ball, and took it on in for the touchdown. So that was a nice adjustment by Great Crossings on that pass play.
Broughton to Fain once more. Welch to kick to get it within 13, and then we'll have another onside kick. Kick's good. No good. Wide left. 40-26 is your score. It's 5:58 to play. One thing I was impressed with last week, and I'm impressed with this week, this team doesn't quit. They certainly have that in their DNA. They play until the final horn. Coach Bowling says that's what they preach every day in practice. Just get a little better and play until the whistle and play until the horn and see what it gives you.
Well, that'll spell well for them in future years as this program continues to grow. Coach Bowling and his staff have done a great job of teaching the boys to play within the process and believe in it. And it is evident tonight that they haven't quit. You know, they're out there giving it all they got, and that's all you can ask from these young men.
It was, 34-6 at one point. We're down to a 40-26 game now.
the offense has really looked much better here in this second half overall. Cobbins has ignited them. With
Yes, he's given them a spark, and Fane.
Fane has made some great plays. Caleb made a great catch and touchdown. So they've balanced it out a little bit, and Broughton's made some great throws.
Another kick for Welch, onside kick. They'll go to the right side this time. They just kick it out of bounds. They couldn't. It was well designed. Wiley was making a beeline down the sideline, but he just could not get there in time. Again, 3 timeouts for Great Crossing and 5:58 left. So a lot of football to be played tonight. 40-26 your score. Shelby County nursing that lead here to the finish. And they are a little tired, I think.
Kicker got a little bit too aggressive with that one. Well, is the big back in? Yep.
Yeah, I think you got to, again, dance with the one who brung you.
They're going to try to run this 6 minutes down, so I expect the big back to get the ball quite often here on this drive.
I would say he's the one that's going to churn the clock, and he's been good in short yardage. He's been good in long yardage. He converted a 3rd and 11 on their last scoring drive in the red zone. It's going to be the quarterback, Miracle on a keeper. He runs around a lot, but doesn't, well, he spins forward for a gain of 6. So they had him, but he got past midfield the second effort.
Pretty well defended there early on, and they just couldn't get him down for a loss or no gain.
He's got good footwork. He's kind of like another running back. He has not thrown the ball a ton. He had that 1 touchdown pass at the end of the first half, but mostly he's a weapon as a runner. Out of that option. Now it's the big fullback, Bradford. He'll get the first down, and Moore, he breaks away. Perry couldn't bring him down. He's mad at himself as he trips up at the 33, does Bradford. But he is deeper and deeper now into GC territory with 5:12 to play.
You can't tackle him high.
No chance. Even if you're Caleb Perry.
If you're Caleb Perry, you can't tackle him high. And Caleb went right up around his shoulders. He's such a big boy, you can't even get your arms around him.
I'm going to say, as great an athlete as Caleb is, he is still outweighed by 60 to 70 pounds by that gentleman. And we have movement, but not enough to bring the flag. And now the quarterback's going to communicate with the backs a little more. Run as much of that play clock as he can. Bradford stands up to the 30. Down to the 29. Ticks down to 4:30 to play. Shelby County just trying to bleed the clock right now. Up by 2 scores. Great Crossing has made a game of it with the help of 3 touchdown passes from Jake Broughton, 2 to Casey Fane, and the other to Caleb Perry. The other score for Great Crossing tonight was a fumble, scoop, and score by Pilot Lukasco in the first half. It was a 21-6 halftime margin that ballooned to 34-6 before this comeback. Miracle keeps it on the left side. He's close to the marker. I think his forward progress had it. They'll get a new set of downs at the 23, call it the 22-yard line. Time is not Great Crossing's friend now, 3:50 and rolling. They do have all 3 of those timeouts. At some point, they'll have to think about using them. If they want to get the ball back with any amount of time to do damage. But, of course, that's a two-sided coin because they won't have those timeouts when they go back on offense. Shelby County driving again on the legs of Anthony Bradford, who has been the story tonight for them, certainly. Now we have a timeout for Shelby County. Want to remind you that we'll be making the call on our offensive and defensive players of the game at the end of the night. People's Bank sponsors the offensive player of the game, and Scott County Veterinary Clinic defensive player of the game. I was a little worried at halftime that we were going to have to break from the ranks and give this to the visiting team, but I think Casey Fane has certainly helped his cause in the second half. We've had some offensive heroics here lately. It was easy on the defensive side because with Pilot making the big play and a bunch of other tackles to make that call for him. But
Pilots had an excellent game, and Fane has too.
Yeah.
Fane has made some nice plays and a couple big catches.
Barring any last-minute surprises, that's what I'm going to go with. It's going to be Casey Fane as your People's Bank Offensive Player of the Game, and the Scott County Veterinary Clinic Defensive Player of the Game will be Pilot Lacasco with the fumble return touchdown and more than a few tackles, but it's taken more than one guy to tackle Anthony Bradford. If you had an offensive player of the game for Shelby County, it'd be him, and he'd probably be your defensive player of the game as well, as he has been a central figure for the Rockets. Trying to improve to 2-1 on the season. They have the win over Frankfurt, so this part of Central Kentucky's been good to them early in the season. Ball in play at the 22 of Great Crossing. Miracle hands it off to the wide man this time. He cuts it inside to the 20. Number 9. Haven't called his name much tonight, Reese Ford. He had, I believe he was the gentleman on the pick 6 for them late in the half that really turned the tide in this one, turned a 14-6 game into a 21-6 game. It's hard to come back from that. And then Shelby County came out and scored to start the second half. Really put Great Crossing on its heels. They hadn't done much offensively to that point, had the Warhawks, but they've awakened from the slumber, but it's too little too late, it would appear. Miracle's going to keep it up the middle, find plenty of room, and he's going to have a touchdown from 20 yards out. That's going to do it. Zachary Miracle puts the cherry on the sundae with 2:26 to go.
It was a nice-looking play there. Faked the big back up the middle. And of course, half of Great Crossing's team had to jump on him, and then there was a nice hole there for him to run up on the second gap there.
So Zachary Miracle, the quarterback, has done a nice job engineering that option attack for the Rockets. They will try to kick to make it once again a 21-point margin. 2:26 and 3 timeouts for the Warhawks to keep on fighting, and we know they will. They went right down to the horn last week against Scott County and tried to score. Bad snap, picked up. There'll be a throw to the end zone. Tried to break it up. That was a hard hit. Did he hold on to the ball?
Jarve Ray, no. Jarve Ray
broke it up.
Yeah, knocked him and the ball.
That's one of those hits where you sometimes knock yourself out, but Jarve got right back up. He's had a nice fourth quarter with the onside kick recovery as well. It's been a busy second half.
2:26 left in the fourth quarter. Your score, Shelby County 46. Great Crossing 26.
(46-26).
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tonight with us.
2 minutes and 26 seconds remaining here on a Saturday night. First half was real quick. Second half, not so much. But we've seen a lot of points scored, a lot of action. The home team's done some good things as the Warhawks have gotten their passing game going. Taking advantage of the fatigue setting in a little bit, I think, on the Shelby County side. Rockets will kick it deep one more time. You mentioned how hard Drake Bird got hit on the last kick return. I don't think he's out there this time.
I've noticed the same thing.
DeQuise Brown will be the primary return man. It's over his head. He's not used to being on that side. Now it gets picked up. And the jersey being tugged away there. They finally get the Warhawks down at about the 13, so not a lot on that return.
It was noticeable not having Bird out there kind of take control of that situation. And
Yeah, he usually runs under it. They cost themselves some yardage there. So Warhawks with the ball, 2:17 to play with. A lot of real estate in front of them, 87 yards. As they try to, this is the kind of score we were seeing from a lot of the college games today. 46-26 right now. Shelby County on top. Broughton in the gun. Throws off the mark. Not even close, really, as Fain could not get there. He zigged, and Broughton thought he was going to zag, I think. It was well covered. 2nd and 10. I don't know how much time ticked off the clock, if any. Broughton now under center this time. Handoff that goes, nope. It's on the outside. He faked it well. It went to Harris.
Pick up about 8 or 9.
Yeah, he got past the 20, so a positive forward motion for the Warhawks. They'll set themselves up with a 3rd and a short 3. Under 2 minutes now. Warhawks would love to score again. And quickly falling down after he gets the handoff. And almost no gain, maybe 1 yard there.
Yeah, nice little seam on the back side there. If he hadn't tripped, I believe he'd have had some good yardage.
Tyrus Cobbins has done some good work tonight on both the outside and inside here in the second half to help get that running game going just enough to keep them honest and set up the passes, I think. But it's 4th and 2. Even though they're deep in their own territory, they'll pull a Grant County and go for it here. That's what that's heretofore known as. We're under a minute. I think they think if they don't get it, Shelby County will probably kneel on it and take it easy on them. Now we've got a whistle and a timeout for Great Crossing. They called the timeout last week with about 2 seconds left to run a play. So we know they will not quit until the final gun. Warhawks have acquitted themselves well here in the second half. Gotten some yards going. Not a lot of first downs even to speak of in the first half, but things opened up quickly and nicely. A well-deserved week off if they choose to take it for the Warhawks. Of course, anything's possible this year that they could add a game to the schedule. A lot of people out there looking for games, so we'll keep you posted in the pages and the online presence of the News Graphic. You can also follow me on Twitter. I'm usually up all hours of the night posting stuff.
Yes, you are.
You've noticed that. I say sleep's overrated, but I just get mine when all the honest people of the world are going to work in the morning. Broughton throws to this side to Harris. He'll get the first down. He doesn't get out of bounds, which would have stopped the clock. He'll hustle and squirm away. Now he'll get out of bounds. He got some extra yardage out of it. It worked out in the end. He got out to the 35, past the 35. 43 seconds to go. Now they mark it at the 35, so 15-yard gain there. Call it 13. Broughton putting up some serious passing yardage this half. His receivers have helped him with second efforts and some speed downfield. He'll throw it again. He's got someone out there if he can run under it, but no, just a touch overthrown. Great effort from Caleb Perry, but he could not get the fingertips on it. Clock stops at 38 seconds, 2 timeouts. This could be the longest minute in the history of organized football. God bless them. They're kids. They're only kids once, and they're going to try to score. And they're building the program here, and anything you can do. Caleb kind of knocked himself out on that play, I think. He's seeing the trainer over here.
Yeah, he's knocked the wind out of him, I bet. Nope, little cramp.
Nope, little cramp. He's stretching. Broughton. He doesn't have his big target out there. DeQuise Brown couldn't get there. The closest man was once again number 7, Griffin Spencer for Shelby County. He's broken up at least half a dozen passes tonight. 3rd and 10, 33 seconds to play. Once again, your offensive player of the game brought to you by People's Bank will be Casey Fain. Your defensive player presented by Scott County Veterinary Clinic, Pilot LeCasco. Broughton to throw, couldn't get anything on that one. It might have been deflected at the line of scrimmage. It will be 4th down and 10. So this is it for the Warhawks with 29 seconds to play. Gain 10 or go home. Shelby County will improve to 2-1 on the season. They look like a team that will contend for the 4A playoffs. And Great Crossing in 5A falling to 0-3, but they've got to feel good about their offense and what they've continued to accomplish and grow here the past couple of weeks. Up for grabs, could not make it up. There's going to be a flag. Peyton Harris was campaigning for one, and then he got it. If they call it on Shelby County. There were 4 guys there, 2 in each colored jersey.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was on Shelby. He kind of kept Peyton from coming back for the ball.
Tried to make the adjustment, and he ran into a little bit of a screen.
I think it was an unintentional back shoulder throw.
Yeah, that's what that was. In the box score, it looks like a 15-yard gain to midfield in 23 seconds, 2 timeouts. Great Crossing trying to go the length of the field here in short order. Make it look a little closer in the newspaper and on the KHSAA website. I think the school record for points would have been 28 in that Grant County game last year, so they're going for that too, I guess.
I'd say this might be the last play.
They are thrown for a loss there as Fain could not get away, and yep, they're going to use a timeout with 8 seconds left. You jinxed us. We will not go gracefully into that good night. There's at least one more play. Caleb Perry getting a good stretch down there. His night is over, I think. Safe to say. He doesn't come off the field much.
They're stretching both legs. He really stretched out on that long pass. And
yep. We'll take an ice bath after this one.
Yeah.
Not a hot night. Game time temperature was 71 degrees. It's gone down a little bit since then. Warmer than it was earlier in the week, for sure, and last weekend. 66 right now is what it says. So nice night for football. Here at the Bird's Nest, where we had the pleasure of 2 home games this weekend. Hope you enjoyed them here on newsgraphic.com and the NFHS network. Glad to have Coach Raines with us tonight to substitute for Derek Varney. It's been a pleasure bringing Great Crossing football to y'all.
Pleasure to be here tonight, Cal.
These kids have fought hard. It's not going to be in the W column, but Broughton with one more chance and an interception that gets dropped, so he'll have a second chance with 4 seconds to play. Shelby could not get the handle on that one.
Broughton's pass is intended for number 13, Casey Fain.
3rd and 13, but that's irrelevant with 4 seconds left. You got one play. You got to come up with your best one. What's it going to be? You've done all this. You might as well hook and lateral, right?
Yeah, I was thinking good hook and lateral.
Broughton drops. Nope. He had 2 guys there. He threw to Fain. He had Harris open as well. Underthrown, and that will be the ball game, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Your final score, Shelby County 46, Great Crossing 26. Any final thoughts, Coach, before we sign off here? We saw a lot of stuff in the second half. Hard to summarize it all.
Just again, we talked earlier. It's a young football team, and they showed a lot of no-quit attitude, and hopefully they'll continue to get better as the season goes on and good luck for the rest of the season to the Warhawks.
Great performance by Shelby County. They came in here on short notice and got the job done. 46-26, your final. Good night again. 3 touchdown passes for Jake Broughton. And we're going to have a little wave at instead of a handshake in the COVID era as they gather and salute one another at midfield. Nice gesture there. Jake Broughton with the touchdown passes, 2 to Casey Fain and 1 to Caleb Perry. That was the story tonight, again, with the defensive gem by Pilot Lacasco. For Coach Paul Raines, for our producer James Scoggin, for Mike Scoggin, for DT Wells, I want to remind you to check out the story and the pictures in the news graphic and at newsgraphic.com. Until next time, I'm Kal Oakes. God bless you all. We'll see you next weekend. Ryle at Scott County. Have a good night, everybody.